Hey everyone, welcome. So last time, I know, I have so many things to think about. I forgot to turn your mics on. So I was just like, yeah, I've got a lot of things going on. Sorry, I've got the stream, I've got the hosting, I've got the D&D Roll20. So I'll just cut this bit out, we'll start again. Hey everyone, welcome to Dragon Heist. Last time on Dragon Heist. Last time on... It was a warm-up. Last time on Dragon Heist, remind me what happened, everybody.
We went on a sewer adventure. The session before that, we learned that our target had been kidnapped by the Senator Guild. We went and checked on my old friend from Xantherim, Yaga, who told us how to get there. On the way there, we ran into a wood elf girl who really, really wanted Telvar to kill himself, and somehow she joined us. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but we went down there, kind of slaughtered everybody, and then went back to Volo to get our money, and then he didn't have it, but he did offer us a, bar/inn in the North District that we plan on checking out today. Might be haunted though.
True. All right. So, just to say, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. I don't know if everyone has their headphones in, but if you can, just check. I mean, if you do, maybe it's just a problem with the line. Don't worry about it. All right. So, yes, you guys went to the bar. You celebrated. You got offered this deed and decided to accept it. And then I think you guys stayed for a little while. You were given some business advice by somebody in the bar. And Volo said that he gave you the key to Trollskull Manor in Trollskull Alley, and said that he would be by in the late morning with a magistrate who will be there to witness the transfer of the deed and the paperwork at the site. So you guys basically went home. There was, I assume you kind of just did your stuff, went to bed. And, so in the morning.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mara had another dream.
Yes, you want to say about what that was?
Daddy said hello back.
Yes, he did.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yes. So now you've got 2 inspiration points. You're very rare. Yeah, you're the only person in the group who gets to hold multiple inspirations, but that's because you have to call on a particular god to cash them in. And yes, anyone else want to talk about? Well, I guess I will do this. You guys have gone either to meditate or to bed. It gets to be the early hours of the morning when the ground and the house and whatever you're sleeping in starts to shake. It feels like an earthquake, and it rumbles a little bit. How bad of
an earthquake?
It's one that wakes you up, but not one that causes damage.
I am in a tree.
Yes.
So
you go ahead and give me a athletics check or an acrobatics, depending on what you want to do. Let's see if you.
I'll go with athletics.
Okay. Oh, you're fine. You managed. You're sleeping with an arm wrapped around a branch, and when the shaking in the leaves and the roots, come up from this trunk. That's the word I'm looking for. And the tree, and it shakes upwards. You're sort of caught up in it. So even though you startle awake, you don't lose your balance, and you stay in the tree. It might have also just sort of been the end of a dream you were having.
Okay.
Right, and so it just lasts for a few seconds, but it's strong enough to wake you and disorient you. It's probably about 6 o'clock in the morning, a little before 6 a.m., and then it settles down. And you hear people start to make some noise, but no one's screaming, no one's yelling fire. It just seems like a bunch of people rush to their windows to look out, and they're talking to their neighbors because everybody was awake. So that was just a little shaking earthquake to wake you up in the morning. So let's go through each person. At this point, what would Thelvar's morning routine be here, having been awake by an earthquake?
Thelvar would get up, have a quick bath, shower, whichever. And usually pop across the road to Hewitt's Fine Pastries to get some morning pastries and bring them back for everyone.
Very nice. Right. How about Mara? Not a morning person, I know, but she's been awakened by the earthquake. So.
Mara feels the shaking, goes, rolls back over and just kind of goes back to sleep.
Okay. How about Clue? You're staying in Thelvar's house as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Well, considering we were celebrating last night, he's probably having a really bad time right now with a massive headache, and he's just really just like digging his hand into his pillow, just desperately trying to fall asleep again.
All right. All right. And Hibara, you're in the tree. Are you going to try to get back to sleep? What do you think, or what would she do?
She'd like be wary for a little bit in case any other like aftershocks waiting for it. But when that goes down, she'd just make sure all of her stuff is still in her sack.
Okay.
And leave it at that.
All right. Well, Thelvar is up bright and early, and with pastries ready to go. The rest of you sound like you take a little bit longer. So by about sort of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, there's Thelvar's starting to clank things in the kitchen, impatient to get to the location. Like, where are these guys? An earthquake doesn't move them. An earthquake doesn't move them.
No discipline, these people.
But you've got the lovely pastries. You've had a nice quiet breakfast. You bumped into some people, and while you were out getting your pastries post earthquake, you got a little bit of scuttlebutt. Nobody really seems to know what happened. There's not a history of earthquakes in Waterdeep, but on the other hand, it's not something that's entirely unheard of. Sometimes it's because of natural things, sometimes it's because of magical things. And so people in Waterdeep kind of just tend to roll with it. If their street doesn't have a big crack in it and goblins aren't coming out, they just tend to shrug these things off.
Damn drow.
Yes.
I wonder what they're up to this time.
And yes, so let's say everybody does make their way down for breakfast. There's pastries, maybe some nice teas, maybe some juices that you've had. And you have on the table in front of you a key to Trollskull Alley. To Trollskull Manor in Trollskull Alley. What would you guys like to do after breakfast?
Mara pouts because there's no coffee.
There's coffee. It's in the cupboard up in the corner there.
I can make my own fucking coffee.
Well, we know which one we got today, I guess.
Mara goes, gets the coffee, and then punts it at Clue's head.
I try and catch you with mage hand.
Okay, go ahead and roll dexterity.
Just blanket dexterity, right?
Yeah, just a dexterity, see if you can take. Oh, no, goes through your hands. Lands on the floor. Now you've got a coffee bag on the floor you have to pick up. If you want the coffee.
Mara threw it. She can pick it up.
Mara walks over, picks it up, and then just kind of glares at him. But goes about making her cup of coffee.
Okay. Then, okay, so you have your coffee. It's quite delicious. It's a very nice local roast that has been picked up at a specialty shop because Thelvar has excellent taste in coffee.
As long as it's strong, that's all she freaking cares about. She's just like,
There's sort of like a hint of nut in it almost, but it is very strong.
Delicious. Tastes like morning. Whatever the heck that means.
That's what my mornings
I
taste
don't even
like.
know it.
So the key is sat in the middle of the table, just sort of being present there.
Yeah, I mean, just Clue's picking up the key and just going, you guys ready to clear out the house?
I'm ready.
Hibaro perks up at that. Yes, let's go see this place filled with the ghosts.
All right. Yeah.
Mara points her coffee mug at Hibara. We don't burn it down.
That's
I make no
curses.
promises.
Fire resistance. You're finally gonna be useful in my life.
All right, so you guys are gonna walk over to the walk from your street, Samiran. It's really, really tiny font on my screen.
Yeah.
So
Summerins Street.
Samiran Street up to Trollskull Alley. So that looks to take. You just go out on something Slimmer's Way. You then cut over to Gelnthune. And you keep going up until you get over, keep going straight to Whalegond Way and take a left at Sourdune Street. Now, while you guys are doing that, why don't you go ahead and, let's see, who's, Hibara, roll me a D20. I'm sorry, a D100. Please. 63. Yeah, so you see, as you guys are walking along on your way to your new building, you see a mage using a fly spell, and she flies overhead. You're just like, oh, look, a mage flying. Now, when you... No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's possibly trouble. Maybe nothing. But then again...
Now, when you get to Trollskull Alley, you have basically one of two choices. The city, so it's because you got going a little bit late. It's getting on, and you walked there, I assume, because we just said. It's getting on like 10:30 in the morning. You could go straight to the building, or you could walk up and down the street. What is your preference?
Oh, Hibara's already like at the building.
Okay.
She is there by the front door waiting.
All right, then let's go ahead. Oh, I'm going to slide this over a little bit more. I will now move you over to Trollskull Manor, and you should be able to see yourselves on a map. I thought it might be more fun to explore your own building here rather than just be given a map. So each of you now should be able to move your tokens, hopefully.
Where is my token?
Do you just see a black screen?
Yep.
Okay, I thought I set this right. Hold on one second. Let me go back.
Well, I see corners.
You see corners? Okay. Let me just check this. There we go. Okay, try that. Is that better? Do you guys see anything?
Please.
It's now all black.
Oh, black.
Black.
I thought I had this
Oh.
one.
Like my soul.
Nope.
Before coffee.
All right, we're just going to turn it all off. Okay, you guys should be able to see everything now. All right. So you see everything, right?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Well,
There
let's
we
just pretend you don't, since
Yes.
dynamic lighting is too hard to work with. And yes, you're basically at the front door here of your building, so you can go in. Yep, one by one, and walk around. I need to get up the right documents to kind of describe what's in there. But yeah, you guys
I
can
see a bay
use.
window.
Mm-hmm.
I see a bay window.
Yeah, you can look inside. If you had dynamic lighting, you'd be able to actually like peek inside the windows, but stupid dynamic lighting isn't working, so we're just gonna
Why
see
can't I move my token?
Yeah, I think possibly the reason the dynamic lighting wasn't working is because you can't actually click our tokens yet.
See, I actually gave you guys all. I preset this to give you guys your rights over your tokens. Like I set this up earlier today, where I looked at it and I gave you all your stuff, and it's not freaking working, and I'm really mad. Tell you what, can you guys just drag your tokens yourself over onto? So if you go to your journals Okay, you can move yours for some reason, Clue. I don't know why anyone else does.
I mean, I just dragged a new one in. That's
Okay.
my.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and just
You cheated.
so the way you do it is you click on your name. Yes.
There we go.
Yep, and drag it over. Okay. Yeah. Highlight the journal entry with your name, and then just drag it. It should turn into like a little white thing, like a little white box with your name, or a little translucent box, and then you can drag it over.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yay! Now I'm in the conservatory or whatever. Mar in the conservatory with the quarterstaff.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that. Okay.
I totally wasn't a Clue kid growing up. Not at all.
I thought that they gave me. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me just check here 1 second. All right. Yes. If you guys, yeah, you can go in if you want. Go ahead and explore.
Okay.
You do the honors, Clue, as you have the key.
Yeah, I guess I open the door and just casually walk inside and just first things first, look at the bar.
Okay. Well, when you walk in, what you see is that the tap room is really dusty. It's filled with broken furniture, other like just bits and bobs. It's obviously like has not been left in a condition you could just take the sheets, like cover it in new sheets, take the dust sheets off, and turn it ready open for business. It looks a bit messy. It doesn't look unstable. It doesn't look like the building is falling apart. And by the way, when you come up to Trollskull Manor, let me just show you. Oh, that's not the picture. I wanted to show you a picture of it, but it's just giving me the full map, which you already have. It's a 4-story building. It's quite grand. In some ways, it's the grandest building on the street, but the only problem is that it looks like it's not been taken care of. It looks like it's been run down or been ignored for a long time. So yeah, you've got basically this sort of basic downstairs tap room. It's very spacious. It looks like it has a lot of potential. The bar itself is quite solid, although it would need to be, tidied up and sort of, spritzed up a little bit to be functioning. But it's not ready to open up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
A fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on the walls?
The walls are bare other than the wood paneling that makes them up.
So no animals mounted on the wall or nothing?
There are some cobwebs and some spiders, but those are living, but there's not pictures of anything. Yeah, you've got already a couple potential clients in the form of maybe a rat or two scurrying across the floor.
Hey, if they have coin, I don't complain.
Yeah, so that's the tap room, and if you go around the bar, you'll see that it goes into the pantry. Now, as you guys step in this area, let me just activate this. You see a form that actually comes through the wall over the bar, and it's staring at Thelvar. Now, you're all surprised, so you don't get a reaction. But what you see is this sort of out of nothing, this light begins to glow, and it takes the form of, it looks like an elf, a male, and he is looking very angry. He is looking exceedingly angry, and he raises up sort of a ghostly finger and points. Can you guys roll me perception? Okay, Thelvar, you're too stunned by the poltergeist. Habara, you seem to be a little bit awkwardly placed to be able to notice, but Mara and Clue, it seems you're a bit confused because it looks like the ghost, or whatever, the apparition, is pointing not quite at Thelvar, but almost above Thelvar. And the elf becomes more and more angry, and eventually just charges. at Thelvar, but it doesn't attack Thelvar. What you notice is when you follow with your mind's eye, there is a form of smoke that you couldn't see before, but has suddenly appeared behind Thelvar. And the apparition grabs it, hauls it to the front door, and throws it out. And then looks back at you guys, very angry. Mara, do you want to do me another perception check with
Sure.
advantage because you can see it? Oh, I'm sorry, not Mara. Hibara. I need someone who speaks Elvish to have a chance. So, I don't want to be racist, but
I am. She is very interested in these cobwebs, yo.
oh, okay.
Thelvar also talks Elvish.
All right. So Thelvar, now that you've noticed it, yeah, go ahead and give a roll to see if you can try to make something out on perception. Thelvar can.
Perception.
It seems to be he's yelling. He looks at you. He's turning around back at you, and he's sort of shaking his fingers at each of you. Then he turns back to the door, and he makes sort of an X, a massive X sign with his hands, and you can kind of see like an X come over the door in a slight light, and then he just sort of looks annoyed and disappears. Thelvar, you feel a deep anxiety that you have been carrying with you since the death of your mother lift. And every time you enter the tavern from here on forward, you'll feel that lightness every time you step over the doorstep.
Okie dokie.
He is gone.
Lucky ducky.
We have an emotional support ghost. Neat.
Awesome.
Tomorrow
Yeah,
don't kill the ghost.
We're definitely going with that name that we discussed for the tavern. Especially considering I've already done the sign.
Can I just say that I really like the fact that Clue and Mara were the ones that were like, ooh, ghosty.
Yeah.
And Thelvar was just like, meh.
Well, he's more too stunned, and he was just like, what the hell is coming? Why is he so angry at me? So,
Different kind of ghost. He's not used to it.
yeah.
It's a friendly ghost.
Yeah, so you guys are free to move about and ask questions, look around. This is a staircase that will
This
take you up
looks
to the
like
second
a
floor.
trap door.
Yes, that goes to your basement. That's where you would normally, if you were going to have an operation, you'd be storing your kegs and other booze and supplies. So you can go down there if you want to go ahead and go into
Yes.
the hatch. All right.
Never.
Is this staircase right here outside?
No, these are all inside. You are now there. Clue is heading down to the ale cellar and the wine cellar, and yep, you have gone ahead and moved up to. I think this is the stair. You come up these stairs, so you'll go up the stairs. Yes, there. So right, yes. Mara, is that yes? Mara, you
Yes.
are now in the den. Well, it's on the map, but basically what you're seeing are more empty rooms. Your like the windows are intact, for instance. The floors are quite dusty. There might be some just random things left behind, but nothing that's particularly usable. Then you walk into a second large room. Seems like it could be multi-purpose. I think there's a fireplace in that room that's shared with the den, maybe. I'll have to check
Are these
more.
stairs right here?
And you've got, yes, in the hallway, you've got more stairs going up. So you would then, or you go up the stairs, you're going to end up on the third floor. Up there. Okay, so you guys are in the wine cellar and the ale cellar, looking to see if there's any booze left. Very nice, you guys.
I'm
Down.
checking if there's anything left that we could use for the business. Also, if it has booze in it, great.
Yeah, there might be
I'm
some
looking for
caskets.
dead bodies.
There are some abandoned caskets, but you're not entirely sure if they're drinkable, if the wine is vinegar or still wine. But you can see that in the cellar, there's plenty of room, and it's already set up to be a working tavern. You don't have to worry about like space or racks or ways to organize the kegs. That's all left behind. It's just, been overrun by rats or whatever else is, like come through because it's been abandoned for such a long time. Who else has questions?
I mean, guess.
What's on the 3rd floor, where I am now?
Yeah. So up there you find actually a privy, a bathroom door. It's a small one. Here, right there. You also, as you look around, you find a room that is a bedroom, and it looks out onto the street. It's a sort of an awkwardly shaped, kind of like L-shaped bedroom, and there's also the part of the turret that's in the front of the manor that makes up this part of the bedroom, right? It also then goes on to what is an area for a private bath. So there's a tub there, but it would need to be scrubbed for a while, but you can take a bath in that area. And then also on the 3rd floor, if you come back past this tiny privy, you're going to find there is a room that used to be a library. It has built-in shelves. It has a very nice fireplace. You could see where, with a bit of work, you could make it much cozier, but at the moment, the books that have been left behind, sadly, have been damaged. It looks like there was a window that someone hadn't closed quite properly, and as a consequence, the temperatures have changed. It's gotten, muggy in there in the summer. It gets cold in the winter, and so as a consequence, a lot of the books are damaged.
Oh.
Yes, and now, Mara, you're actually standing in yet another bedroom, and that one has its own bathroom. Also, you've seen that there is a 3rd privy next to the library. So this is definitely like, if anyone needs to do their business, you go to the 3rd floor. That's plenty of opportunities for that, and also a private bath. But then there's still yet another staircase that goes up to the 4th floor.
Up the staircase. Oh, wait, is there stairs in this room?
In the turret, I think that the way that you get to the turret is through the...
Up a ladder?
Let me see. Thelvar's in the way. Sorry, I'm moving you. Yes, actually, the turret, there's the bedroom on the 3rd floor, that's the weird L shape, does have a door that allows you to access that little round room. And in that case, you can see basically both sides of the street. So you get a good view from all sides, 1, 2, 3 sides there. There's not much else in that room other than, a space to kind of maybe sit a little with a chair, and you couldn't like put a dining room table. Well, you could probably put a table in there, but it would be a tight squeeze.
Okay, going back down there, going up the stairs. What's on the last floor?
Yeah. So up here you basically have it. The house kind of narrows as it goes up. So this is the attic area. It looks like, it's got 2 windows, again, looking out over the street. It's called, as you can see, the attic bedroom. You could convert this into a storage area or a sleeping area. And then there's also, let me move you, another area for storage. Or you could swap them around and put the bedroom in the bigger room and the storage in the smaller one, because it's your place now. So from the looks of it, if everybody wanted to move in here, there would be a bedroom for everyone. You guys could live and work. I mean, obviously Thelvar already has a property, but anyone who wanted to stay overnight or set up shop here or have a room, you guys could live in the manor and have a working business downstairs if you wanted. Or if you wanted to, say, keep the 3rd floor for guests, if everyone had a place, you could, for instance, turn that one room with all of the privies and the private bath into, an inn. So you guys have a couple of options there. Look around. Ooh, that's too big. Nice.
Well, guys, Chloe's just gonna also go through the building, okay? So he ends up back with Matt. Well, guys, this place has some nice spaces, but before we decide on anything business related, we probably want to figure out what this ghost is about.
Indeed.
You said there were some
Whatever it
old
is,
casks in the
It does
basement?
seem
Yeah. There was a couple of casks of beer left behind, or wine, whatever. You're not quite sure. There's things in there. So
Okay.
Mara does a head count and goes, "Who left the fire happy, burn things to the ground person alone?"
I'm not a babysitter, and you can't make me.
Mara just looks at him. Really? Do we want to push this button?
I mean, if you want to go, I can go. You want to take this
You're the
outside?
fire resistant one. Will you just go make sure she doesn't set anything on fire?
Fine. He just goes back downstairs. You lighting anything on fire?
No, but she is trying to open these casks.
Actually, it's gonna help because that looks interesting.
So what should we do for that?
I
Should we roll
I have
something?
a crowbar, so that should help.
yeah,
Oh, well, there we go.
you want to go
Pop these
ahead?
suckers open.
Roll a strength check. Get advantage of the crowbar.
My worst stat.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that the wood kind of gives. Yes. So you crack open the casing so that you can get at the tap area. And let's go ahead and just roll a 1d20, and let's say that 1 is completely off, 20 it's an amazingly good beer. Let's just see what happens. Clue.
5.
It's not that great. There's another one you can try if you want.
God, another strength check then, I guess.
Yep.
Well, 13 works.
That one, with advantage, right? Yeah, that one you're kind of getting the hang of it now. You see where you can like pop off the thing to get at it, and yeah, you get at the tap.
Mhm.
And go ahead
So-
and give me a roll 20 or 20.
18.
This actually, when you pull back the handle on it, on the tap, you hear that sort of sound like carbonation or whatever it is, and you start looking for. There's like a dusty glass, so you got to like put your hand in and get the dust out. You clean it with your shirt, whatever. You put a fist over your shirt and kind of. It's not that your shirt that's much cleaner, but you kind of clean out the inside of the glass and pull the tap, and it's very foamy. First one, and it's been shaken up a little bit. But when you cut off the head. Not like with a sword, you move the foam aside. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. So bonus beer there that you found in your basement. Someone left it behind.
Nice. Good color. One that I taste, just kind of have a quick sip of it.
Okay.
That's pretty brave drinking that.
I know my beer. Don't worry.
No, I was just thinking, this is the perfect place to hide bodies. No one ever checks what's in the cask.
I mean, you taste it in the beer. It's very obvious that there's a corpse in your beer. Makes it taste really bad.
Body beer.
All right. So I'm going to share this with you guys now, so you'll have this handout with you for your reference. And what I'm really depressed about is that there's artwork in the book that they haven't given me to give you, which makes me very sad, because it's actually a really nice building. I'll see if I can look it up and give you a link where you guys can have a look at your Trollskull Alley Manor from the outside.
Actually, a good question. That thing over here I'm pinging out, is that a chimney? Oh,
Yes.
a fireplace.
Well, I mean, it's a fireplace that attaches. There's a chimney on the building. Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
Let's see. Okay, so don't read this, but you can look at the picture. Come on. There we go. You can have a look there. It's got the image of what your manor looks like. You can see that it's quite grand, but it's a bit of a fixer-upper.
He's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Can definitely make something out of that.
As you guys are exploring and finding your way through the various floors, you're up at the top now, and you hear at the front door.
Guess Clue comes out of the cellar and just walks up to the door and just opens it. And
It's Volo. It's Volo.
Hey,
Oh,
Volo.
my friend. How are you doing? Is it not a magnificent building? Oh, so good to see you. Oh, so good to see you in your new home.
Thanks. Yeah, it has some nice spaces in it. The emotional support ghost is interesting, but we'll work with it.
Have you met the ghost?
I mean, met is a big word. Like, he showed up.
Oh, that's amazing. See, I was here many times. I never saw a ghost. He must really like you guys.
I mean, Thelvar exists, so I guess that was to be expected.
Well, if everybody is here, I have the magistrate. Please allow me to introduce the magistrate, Kylan Silverham. Magistrate Silmerham will be witnessing the transfer of the property through the deed, and have all of the forms here. If everybody is ready to sign the paperwork.
Okay, I'll go get them right out. Just like runs towards the side and just yells at them. Magistrates here, come the fuck down.
You guys are already acting like a family. Just like shout up the stairs. Mom! Phone! Kind of thing. So you all come down, and as you do, you see a tiefling woman looking, stern. Looks like she's got a lot to do today. She is got a briefcase where she is pulling out a series of papers, and she looks around. There's no obvious tables to put them on, so she walks over to the bar and sets them on the bar. She kind of goes through them, saying this place belonged to Volo, and when you guys sign this, it will belong to you. Now, who should I put as holding the deed to the property?
It would probably be easiest if it needs a single name to go into Thelvar's name.
Well, you guys had talked about...
If not...
We were planning on putting on the party name, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Which was what I was about to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, you were saying?
We're saying if it needed a single person's name, Thelvar would probably be easiest, but we were wanting it to be under the party name, which essentially boils down to PN2C.
Okay, she says PN2C, and if you're all representatives of PN2C, I can put 4 lines here. Each of you can sign as a representative. Is that okay with everybody?
Works for us.
Everybody here knows how to write.
Yeah,
Just kind of looks at him for a second.
All right. So she writes PN, and she's like, is it TO or TOO or 2TW?
It's just the number 2.
Oh, wow, that's very modern. So she puts number 2, named L, right? Is the last one. And should I put little dots here, or is it letters like an acronym, or just all without any dots?
Yeah, it's an acronym, so
Okay.
dots between it.
All right, so she writes that down. Then she has sort of like activates places for 4 signatures, because there's like multiple places, like you could have valid, 20 people or whatever in the form. So she turns it around and hands out a quill. Who wants to sign first?
I mean, guess Clue's gonna go and put his name right at the top.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Clue. Like, just Clue. All right. Excellent.
Yes, Clue. I mean, you're a tiefling. You should understand.
Mara takes the quill next, and starts signing, and then all of a sudden her handwriting changes, and the last name kind of looks like a W and an R in there instead of the VITA.
The tiefling sort of looks at the signature and well, if you can reproduce it, that's fine. Right. To whom do you give the quill then?
To Telvar.
Yep, there, Thelvar signs it a nice big flourish. Lord Thelvar Mordragain of Hadar's Folly.
God.
It takes up half the page.
That leaves.
And hands the quill over to a final party member. You do know how to
you
write,
want
correct?
me? Yes. Just my
checking.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is all.
Okay. She's very messy handwriting. Sort of scratches her name into the page, but it's in Druidic. So
Okay, yes.
I don't know if that works legally. Well, guess we'll go with it.
The magistrate also signs it and dates it. She takes out a candle with a red sealing wax, made of red sealing wax. She sort of gives a little light spell, melts it, and enough to have a seal, and she goes ahead and presses her seal. She says, all right, well then, that'll be 25 gold. And there's a... Volo steps and goes, oh, my friends. Don't worry. On the way home last night, Renier Never Ember told me that he knew he didn't hire you, but he felt he wanted to show his gratitude. He knew from his various extensive experiences with property that this is a common cost. He asked me then to give to you all as a gift these 25 gold to cover the costs of you starting your having a new home or starting your new business. So he takes the pouch out, he hands it to the magistrate, and she gives a receipt, and she hands it to you guys because it was a gift. The money was a gift to you, and you used the money to pay her. So you have that receipt now, and she says, yeah, we'll get you a copy of the deed sent to you within the next 5 to 10 working days. So.
Sounds good.
She closes.
Mighty fine of him.
She closes up her case and walks out. And Vola's like, "Oh, let me be the first to congratulate you. I'm so happy for you guys. Yeah. So, what do you think of the place?"
It's very homely. As soon as I walked in here, almost as soon as I walked in here, it was like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love to hear that. Yes, it's quite a fixer-upper, this one. My friends, when I was looking into renovating this for my own use, I had some discussions with the guild. I can tell you what they told me, at least if you want to deal with them, to see if they give you the same price. But the cost I had estimated to have this place fixed up and ready to go, when I contacted all the guilds, it totaled about 1,000 gold pieces. And but they said they could get it done in 12 days for that much. So, as you talk when you make your decisions, what you want to do with the space, how you want it to look like, and so, yeah, keep that in mind. Like, it shouldn't be more than 1,000, and it shouldn't take 2 weeks or 10 days, as we say here.
Of course, this was gonna be expensive. Well, thanks for the info, buddy.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I will let you go. You have a whole house to explore. You have a street to explore. It's very exciting.
Definitely is. Clue just like slaps the bar for a second.
Yeah, so I will let you get on with your day. He's getting a bit Irish there for some reason. He's going from Italian to Irish. I don't know why. I just thought pizza, mozzarella, cappuccino. Okay, I think I got it. All right, arrivederci, bello, bella, mwah, 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 and he leaves. Ciao, bella, ciao, bello.
Mara looks at everyone and goes, "Why didn't we tell him it was a dump?"
It's a fixer-upper. It's been abandoned for however long.
Just like
It has potential.
he just like runs like a finger like over the dust and just like puts it up to his tongue. This tastes like 5 years to me.
Indeed.
You're a weirdo.
Not true. Well, what do you guys want to do? Meet the neighbors or figure out the ghost?
We get
if
to work on fixing this place so that it's habitable and functional and all the things.
I mean,
well,
we also need to do that, but at the same time, ghost.
indeed.
It's not gonna.
Well,
What is the ghost gonna do?
I mean, we don't know. That's the problem.
Eh.
yes, it might be a good idea to speak to some of our neighbors. Maybe one of them could shed some insight into our spiritual lodger.
Sounds good to me. How
Guess I'm
about you, Mara?
I say we work and get this thing fixed, but
I mean,
if I
for
am
that we're gonna need
outvoted,
to. I mean, we can't fix it ourselves. The guilds won't allow that. We just need to get the money in that case.
we don't know if the ghost won't allow it.
Why can't we just fix it ourselves?
He didn't
Because,
say ghosts, he said guilds, as in the Builders Guild.
Yeah, they don't really like people just doing their own handiwork, especially in places of business. That's a good way to never get beer ever.
Indeed, we must stay on the good side of the guilds. It's only good for business.
Say so.
So, I guess we're gonna look to meet our neighbors, I guess.
All right. Well, then I will give you another map, and this one happily doesn't have to have any dynamic lighting whatsoever. All right. Now, as you look at this, can you see that there are certain people in certain buildings?
We're still. In
Oh,
the-
right. Sorry, I changed it, but I gotta drag you over. That's right. It's a 2-step process. 2-step. And it's a 3-step process if you want lighting, and a 4-step process if you want your players to see the light. What's going on? All right, there you go. This is Trollskull Alley. Your house, your building is this
right
one
here.
here. Yep. Do you see like people in buildings, for instance?
I see.
Like
Little dots. Yep.
white.
Yep.
Two
So
over here. Yep.
each of these is a business. The other buildings in the street are just normal houses that are built, sort of like that occupy. Well, they're normal houses built in with the businesses. So your turret here faces the north entrance, And all of this kind of like building back here, like this is all yours. Then you've got a little bit of an alleyway here that you can go through, and then you get to the south entrance down there. Now, this is your new neighborhood.
All right.
And in the chat, I did share a picture of a nice 3D model of
Oh, really?
Trollskull Manor.
Oh, let me check that out. That's cool that somebody made that. Oh, wow, look at it. That's awesome. That's super cool. Wow. Good for them. They have too much time on their hands, but we all appreciate it. all appreciate their artistry.
Hey.
Okay, guess we go and check out the neighbors. Which way are we going, guys? Are we going to Vincent or Fala? One whose name is too small for me to read right now. And then Embrick and Ava are the same building. Where do you guys want to go?
You can go ahead and drag your tokens onto this map too, so I can more easily follow where you're going to go on the street.
Whee!
Ah.
Wait, where'd my token go? Oh my god. What?
Oh, I see you. You're in the house. I'm putting you on the street. I just put you.
I
there
am
you
so
go.
tiny.
Just
There
zoom
is-
in.
Oh, holy mother of God.
If you zoom
There is
in.
no greenery around here at all, is there?
Well, a little bit, as you will find as you explore.
Okay.
Well, guess we're going to neighbors. If Valvar wants to join us.
Yep.
Clue's just gonna be following you back. Just no, just come with us, please.
Ah! Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Small.
Just zoom in a bit.
Yeah, zoom in on the map to make it like 70%.
I know, I keep trying, but then I lose the map.
Oh no. Do you want me to make you bigger?
No, I'm good.
I'll just make you monster size.
Everything's
That'll
good.
help.
Giant Mara.
Giant Mara walk. Boom, boom, like Godzilla. Don't mess with me. So you guys are going to the one straight ahead number. Well, it's for me. It's I can see it as T4. I'm not sure if you see.
I mean, I just see follow something or other.
All right. So as you approach this building, you see that it's a stately 3-story townhouse, and when you look up, it looks like the 3rd floor has been converted into a greenhouse. It has translucent glass walls, and when you look up from the street, you can almost see like a rainbow of flowers blossoming inside, and it's called Corlon's Crown. And that's what you see on the sign.
Looks like you could make yourself right at home here, Hippo.
It does seem nice.
So, do not burn it down.
Shall we introduce ourselves?
We shall. I guess there's a shop so we can just kind of walk in.
So as you enter, you see a wood elf with long braided hair. But with, like they say here, like the elven god Corleon, Fala, this is Fala Lefairly. I know, so Fala Lefalier. Fala Lefalier. You can't really, like, you're not getting a read. They seem to be both masculine and feminine. They seem to have features that they seem to embody both. They seem very comfortable, sort of, in a very yeah. And
it's quite common for elves.
yes. Also, I will tell you that Fala prefers to be called they. They prefer the pronouns.
Which we don't know yet.
No, yeah, but that's yeah. So I'll just like mention that as you come in. So yes, you see Fala and they. Yeah, I was like, I'm looking he, she. I was like, neither he or she, and then I say he. they look at you and smile, and they say, "Welcome and peace. What can I do for you today?"
Thelva replies with welcome and peace in perfect Elven, and then also asks for pronouns in Elven.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I prefer they. Very much appreciated. And also gives you a very gracious and elegant dip of the head when you greet them in Elvish.
Pleased to meet you. I am Thelvar, human combat mage, and these are my companions. We have recently come into possession of Trollskull Manor across the way there, which we are looking to do up, and we were going to introduce ourselves to our new neighbors.
So Fala gets a big smile on their face and comes out from behind the service counter kind of area and says, "Well, greetings and welcome to the neighborhood. It's so wonderful to have someone in that building. It's so beautiful, but so little has been done with it, and you look like a group of people who would take care of it very well." And they reach out and they embrace your hand. They don't really shake it, they just sort of like envelop it, and you feel sort of like a warm peace vibe coming off of Fala, and moves through. So Thelvar, you said, "Wonderful to meet you. I'm Fala," and moves down the line to Clue and sort of takes your hand. "Hello, I'm Fala."
Hello. Nice to meet you.
"And you are?"
I'm Clue.
"Wonderful to meet you, Clue," and kind of gives your hand a squeeze, walks over to Mara and offers to take your hand. "I am Fala. It's so lovely to meet you."
Mara looks at them and goes, "What are pronouns?"
Really?
And then just kind of follows the same kind of like greeting and everything like that, but just kind of is like, I don't understand.
"No worries." Yeah.
Do I need to give you a common lesson, Mara?
"I make life easier. You always refer to me as they." And does Mara offer her hand when Fala sort of opens it?
Yes.
Yes. Fala kind of embraces it and says, "I look forward to interacting with you more. There's so much about the world you can learn." And then moves on to Hibara and again sort of offers their hand to you in friendship.
She takes their hand and says in Elven, "Cousin, is this your? Do you keep that upstairs healthy?"
"Oh, cousin," they reply in Elvish. "It is the place where I renew my soul, and living in bricks and stone and mud, I know how much you can need that. So, please, always, my home is your home. If you need to come and meditate in my greenhouse, it is open for you as long as I'm in the building."
She then, grabs their hand and says in Druidic, "Are you a druid?"
"Ah, yes, I am. And here in the middle of this urban jungle, I offer apothecary and other herbal remedies, also flowers just for beauty and for spices. Basically, anything that grows that I can keep in my greenhouse and can be used in a useful way. That's what my job is. It's herbal remedies and also some magical potions as well. So anything you need, if I don't have it, please let me know," they say. "I will try to get it for you. And really, welcome to the neighborhood. If you would like to look around my shop, please have a look. And if you want to go and check out the greenhouse, you can do that as well."
Thank you very much. Very hospitable of you. We were wondering if we could ask you a few questions.
Yes, of course.
When we first entered Trollskull Manor, we did have an encounter with an elven resident of sorts, kind of spiritual, of the spiritual kind. Was wondering if you might know anything about the history of the place that might be able to help us help our house guest.
Well, I have been in business for about 5 years, and that building has been empty the whole time. I've heard rumors of a haunting, but sometimes empty buildings seem to attract those kinds of tales. So I didn't think too much about it. Sadly, I don't know. I haven't been around, I think, in Waterdeep long enough in this part of the town to know much more to offer you. My apologies. But best of luck. There's probably someone. Gossip gets around and rumors abound. I'm sure you'll get some information from somewhere.
Yes, indeed it does. Very, very nice shop you have in here.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind of you to say.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, we have a couple more people to see. Well, make sure to send you an invite to the grand opening, fella. And just walks out the door.
Fala actually says, hold on, just wait please 1 moment. By the way, when Fala goes behind the counter, you see that there is a list of the potions that they offer for sale and prices. Sort of that's where the menu list is for the magic potions. But they were working on a little fern plant already, and Fala comes back with the plant in a beautiful little clay pot that's been drawn on it some leaves and other images from nature, and offers it to the group generally, not anyone in particular. And they say, please, as a welcoming gift to the neighborhood. I know that building has probably been abandoned and might feel very empty, and I think a little bit of life in the form of organic life is always a way to cheer things up. So please, take this as a welcome gift. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Cool, thank you very much. I'm sure Hibara would really appreciate adding some greenery to Trollskull Manor.
Yeah, so Fala smiles. And,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She takes that.
Mine. I need greenery. So Fala gives you a very warm warm smile and a wave, and returns to their business, whatever you're doing behind the counter.
Okie dokie, so we head out and head to the next door, yeah? As we kind of already said our goodbyes.
Mm-hmm. Looking to see where you guys
Vincent,
go.
I guess. To Vincent Trench, if you guys follow.
Okay.
All right, so as you approach that building, you see, walking out, a man you recognize. You see the man who gave you the advice about starting your business last night at the Yawning Portal. He walks out and says, "Oh, well, hello. How are you guys doing?"
Great, nice to see a friendly face.
Well, yes, I actually have business here in Trollskull Alley. I had to make a stop here, but then I thought I would stop over at your business in about, he kind of looks at the sun, about an hour or so from now, if you don't mind. I knew where you were located because, let's face it, Volo's voice travels. It's kind of hard.
Indeed it does.
Fair enough.
But I've just come from a series of meetings today, and I'm looking to hire a party of adventurers. And I think not only would you be interested in it for the job I'm offering, but I have another offer for you as well. So if I came to your tavern in about an hour, could we sit down and have a meeting?
Yes, I'm sure we can manage that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let me go get a few more things done. I'll see you guys. I'll see you all back at the Trollskull Alley Manor in about an hour. And he sort of like gives you a wave and walks off.
Nice guy. Let's hope he pays well. That's cool. Just like walks in.
Indeed.
All right. So here, once he leaves the door itself is not like Fala's that opened immediately. It's locked. So if you wanna, you see a place where there's a bell you can ring, or you can knock on the door.
Guess we're ringing the bell.
All right. So by the way, when you look at the building itself, all you see is a orange and black sign featuring a cat's eye. That's pretty much it, and a rather unremarkable building otherwise. Okay.
Mm.
So did you knock or ring the bell?
Yeah,
We ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
All right. Okay. So there's a few seconds that go by, and then you start to hear the noise of a lock being undone, and the door is open, and you are met by a human dude, looking very sharply dressed. He's actually got a slim pipe in his mouth, and he's just sort of looking at you and says, "Yes, hello. Do you have an appointment?"
Yeah,
Oh,
no. But we're just the neighbors coming to say hi.
Oh,
Indeed.
We're new to the
Thelvar
neighborhood.
Waterdeep. We have recently come into possession of Trollskull Manor, just around there, and we were looking to introduce ourselves to our neighbors.
oh, well, then please do come in. He sort of opens the door and says, I've just had a client leave, but I will be, I've gotten a few I've got a few free minutes before my next appointment. I thought you were my next appointment already. He welcomes you in, and inside you see it's rather dimly lit. There's not a lot of, like, the windows are drawn and shaded to kind of keep the privacy, and there's oil lamps that are flickering, but it's a very regal apartment, and with, comfortable seating and books on shelves and some nice artwork. And he offers you a seat and says, "Can I offer you some tea or coffee or water or anything?"
Coffee.
No.
Coffee.
Yes, a tea sounds very nice.
Alright. So he says, "Please just yes, have a seat, and I will be right back." And he disappears for a few minutes.
Coffee.
Okay, Thelvar's gonna have a interesting look around the place.
From the room itself, it's very difficult to see an obvious business. There's no price tags. There is no, like, sales racks or, like, shelving. It literally just looks like somebody's front room, but a little bit more formal than that. So he, in a few minutes, yep. Anything else?
There wouldn't be any signs of his business being shady or any other way peculiar.
There's nothing that's extravagantly expensive here. It all seems in like tasteful, but not. It doesn't seem to have labels for the sake of labels. It seems to be like, if you had to characterize the room and what's in it by anything, I guess you would probably say classic. These are pieces that will last for a long time, of generations. They won't go in and out of style. This is a kind of a space that's built to last for a long time.
Well, perhaps this, the gentleman running this is maybe more running a service than an exchange of goods.
So Vincent comes out, and I don't know if I forgot. His name is Vincent Trench. But, he's brought enough water. He also offers the coffee to Mara, offers tea to Thelvar. Also has 2 extra glasses of water that he sort of puts in front of Hibar and also in front of Clue, just so you don't feel left out. And he sits down in one of the empty chairs. There's like 6 around the room, sort of the way they're arranged. So he's sits down and says, "So, Trollskull Manor. That building hasn't been occupied for quite a while. It would be nice to have somebody in there, well, at least, coming and going. What are your plans for that building?
Yes, we're planning on renovating it and opening up as a tavern, I believe.
Oh, well, that's excellent, because it's on my way home.
Indeed. So, what sort of business do you run here?
Oh, well, I guess you'd say the intelligence business. If people need information about things, and they need somebody else to learn it, they come along and hire me to help find that information, or maybe track down a person, look into somebody's background from another city, that kind of thing. We do investigations, or I offer an investigatory service here.
Oh,
Quite
fellow from the
interesting.
trade then.
Yes, yeah. We've got friends and contacts, and if someone goes missing, sometimes I can get a lead on it by knowing the right ward and the right street, and knowing the right street urgent to pay some coin in that area. So,
Feel like we'd get along fine.
Of course you would.
okay. I just heard a bing in my ear, but I don't know what it is, so I'm just gonna
It
assume
wasn't me.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that was me. Had to
Oh, that's-
refresh because I lost sound again.
No worries. We'd rather have you here. I just what was that?
No. Wasn't me.
So, as an information broker of sorts, maybe you could help us with a little inquiry we have about our new business over there. It seems that we have an Elven House guest of the spiritual kind, and we was wondering if you might have any insight on how that may have come to be.
He gives a little chuckle and he said, well, normally I would charge you by the hour, but considering you're newer neighbors, he just made what he thought was a really funny joke. He says, from my understanding, that building has been in Trollskull Alley for decades, maybe even over a century. And it's always been a tavern. But from what I heard, not the last owner who left it in the sort of like the state before you found it, but the owner before that person, before her, my understanding is that person owned the tavern for a very long time. He started there as a youth. He met his partner there. He lived out his life there. The bar was, in many ways, his life, because when his partner passed, that was where the memories of the two of them, where he could remember him. And that, it was rumored that after the owner died, he never quite left. But, then the business had trouble with the next owners, but it was a very different kind of tavern that they turned it into, and I can't quite tell if it was just poorly managed or it didn't attract the right customers. But I did hear a little bit in terms of rumors of, things getting smashed or people hearing noises at night. Eventually the business just closed down, and sometimes when I go past, I swear I could hear someone smashing a glass or knocking over a table, but there's nobody in there. So there you go. That was your one for free.
Wonder if that was the black entity that the other entity threw out the door.
I mean, I think the black entity was just tension Tava was carrying in his shoulders, really.
He had to be a bad guy, or the other entity wouldn't have chucked him out.
I
Right?
think you're overestimating how good ghosts generally are. That they just tend to be weird, more than
Maybe
benevolent.
you are just being a meanie poo-poo head about the poor ghosts. Maybe you have a thing against ghosts.
I'm neutral about ghosts. They're just ghosts.
I have
They're
to
not
agree
like-
with Lou. Most ghosts only are around here because they hang on for too long and they need to move on.
You want to
And
burn
go.
things to the ground.
These are not mutually exclusive concepts.
Let's try and help the ghost peacefully, and if that doesn't work, we can kill it.
Yeah, but
Well-
it seems to like Belvar. We should
Yes,
keep it around.
I definitely vote for the peaceful solution, especially considering all that weight is back on my shoulders again. Yes, so I am very much in favor of our spiritual house guest.
See,
I mean,
mm,
a ghost is good marketing. Not a lot of taverns have a
Indeed.
ghost.
well, let's have a conversation with the ghost. We need a
Doesn't
medium.
seem very talky.
Well, we didn't try talking to it.
Yes, it rather caught me off surprise, just incoherently yelling at me like that and then rushing at me. I was just so caught off guard. Next time I will definitely try speaking to it. I'm sure we can come to some sort of understanding. And
You're okay,
I must say, our house guest definitely gives me an idea for a name for our tavern, but we can discuss that later.
I say we
Sure.
go back and talk to the ghosty.
I say we talk to
Can
the
you
rest-
speak with the undead?
No, but I say we talk to the ghosty. And I say we as a collective body.
Perhaps we should find a cleric.
Well, Belvar could talk to ghosties.
Indeed, well, they often talk to me, but yes, and they appear to be elven, and I'm quite fluent in the language myself, so I'm sure I could strike up a conversation.
I mean, I would check out the rest of the neighbors first, but if you guys want to try and talk to the ghost again, it's up to you.
You also have to be home at 9 o'clock in an hour.
Yes, that's an hour. It doesn't take 5 minutes to say hello to everyone else. And I'm sorry, we seem to have been caught up in our own little discussion here, Vincent. Thank you for your help. It has been mighty enlightening.
Oh, likewise. Thank you.
And we will probably speak to you more another time, but for now we want to quickly say hello to the rest of the neighbors, and then we have an appointment in, I would say about 50 minutes from now. And bravo on the tea. It was delicious.
He gives you a sort of a very gracious half bow and says, well, of course, this was a very interesting conversation to listen in on. And let me know how things go with the ghosts the next time I see you. And of course, being so close, if you decide to open that up as a tavern, I will stop by and see what kind of ales you have on tap.
Very good. We look forward to your custom.
Thank you for the coffee. It was very yummy.
You're very welcome. And you see, as you guys are leaving, he sort of pulls some paper out of his pocket and he starts sort of just making some notes as he withdraws into the shade of the door, and it shuts behind him, and you hear it lock as well.
Have a nice day, buddy. Get where?
Hey, where to
We've
now?
got somewhere over here, and I've got a guy right over the other end. Yeah.
Where's home?
Home is
home
Right here.
Seconds. Give me a second.
No. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm lost. I have no. Thank you. That's super helpful.
I
So
thought we were going to do the rest of the neighbours first because we've still got 3 to go.
So we can go to Embrick and Avi, or the one with the name that's smaller because there's long Delisfanar.
Telly.
I think Tally. Well, yeah, Tally works. So
Let's
what do
do
you think
Tally.
about this?
We've also got Richel the page turner.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah, right to the left-hand side. Same side of the square as
yeah.
Vincent.
Might
Hey,
not be a
who's-
horrible idea to go to them first because they're all the way to the left.
Do I have multiple tokens?
You do.
How exciting.
I'm like, why am I over here?
I mean, it's impressive for a monk to learn mirror image.
Yes, but I haven't learned that yet.
I don't see your second token.
I'm all the way at the top
Up here.
over here.
Oh, okay. I can remove her. That's your doppelganger.
Yes,
I'll get
please
rid
and
of her.
thank you.
All right, gone.
I mean, you should be able to delete your own tokens by just pressing delete after selecting them. So,
Okay, so you guys are going to go to see the page turner. All right. So as you walk up to this business, you see that the front of the bookstore is adorned with this charming sign of a golden dragon, or gold dragon, I should say, curled around a treasure hoard of books and scrolls. Oh, see? It's called Bookworm's Treasure, spelled WYRM''S. So Bookworm's Treasure. Also, as you peer inside the window, you can see that the shop is beautifully decorated with hardwood. Yes, and as you push your way through the front door, a little bell rings, and immediately you can take in the earthy scent of old books that just hangs in the air. You can see that for the entire floor, of the first floor that you can see is just shelves. It seems to be able to have more books on more shelves than is humanly possible, but this is and behind the counter, when you get over how many books you are looking at, you see a short dragonborn of gold dragon ancestry, he's got sort of like a little pince-nez glasses, and he's literally got his nose buried in a book, and he looks up as you walk in, and he says, "Good day, and hail, fair, well met. How are you doing?"
Thelvar takes a deep, long breath through the nose and exhales with a nice sigh. Oh, greetings there, my draconic friend. I am Thelvar Mordragain, and these are my companions. We have recently come into possession of Trollskull Manor, down at the corner there, which we are going to be opening up as a tavern once we have renovated the place, and we were just introducing ourselves to our new neighbors. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
He comes out from behind the counter. His eyes look a bit shocked. He's like, "Wow, I had no idea that anyone was even interested in Trollskull Manor, and now you're going to turn it into a business. Well, how wonderful. I am Richel, the page turner, and this is my store. And welcome to the neighborhood, and best of luck." He goes through and asks each of your names and shakes each of your hands, and says, "Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah, and when are you going to be opening? What kind of business are you going to be opening?"
We're going to be opening as a tavern.
Oh,
Best
excellent.
to preserve the place's history.
Yeah, fantastic. If you had said bookstore, I would have been a little bit disappointed, because I am the best bookstore, and I don't mind telling you. And competition is always good, but it's a kind of a tough market. But on the other hand, if you had been opening a bookstore, I would have just been so happy to think of how many books that 4-story building could hold. Mine, is only I only have the first 2 floors of my building with books, but you have 4, and that would be so much more wonderful. But as it is, you will be instead providing refreshments and entertainment, no doubt. So fantastic. And if you, of course, ever need some light reading materials that you want to leave out, you can always come by here. Or if there's any books you need, on business management or different kinds of brewing, or what kind of the history of taverns in Waterdeep, whatever else, definitely this is a place you should start first.
Indeed. This is a mighty fine bookstore you have here. I look forward to spending much time here, especially as some irresponsible braggart left the window open in the library of Trollskull Manor, which has ruined almost all of the books. So
He actually
over time, I will definitely be looking to replenish my library.
When you mention the damaged books, he actually looks like he's been punched in the stomach, and just says, "Oh, that's
yes.
terrible to lose a book like that. Or any books."
Oh, yes, indeed. Such terrible braggarts.
Yes. Well, if you need to replenish, obviously, please do come here, and if you buy in bulk, there will be a discount, of course. Don't worry about that.
Mighty fine of you.
Can Mara do an investigation and take a look at all of the books?
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation. What would you like to look for?
About the deity she's had a dream on.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to ask first, or do you want to just try to work it out on your own?
Work it out on her own.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an investigation check. All right.
Nope.
Yeah. There's a bunch of numbers, and you can't. It's like 0001, and then 100 to 200, and 300 to 400, and it's not like just by alphabetical. There's some kind of weird system going on that you don't understand.
Really? I don't want to have to bring up my dirty laundry. Don't want to have to mention the dreams.
He's just gonna walk next to her and just looking for something.
Well, I had a dream. Two. And one was interesting, and the other one was, weird. And
Aren't most dreams like that?
I'm gonna need a bit more detail if I want to actually help you here, Ma.
Well, one, Daddy said hello. And
Who's Daddy in this context?
don't remember my name, the god's name.
Asmodeus. Or Asmodeus.
Asmodeus.
I've heard it both ways.
That's soon as you hear the name's like, why are you looking things up about Asmodeus?
Well, apparently he's Daddy? Which doesn't make sense.
You're related to Asmodeus.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not, considering you don't appear to have any horns or a tail and are pretty normal human color.
Why, thank you.
So yeah, pretty weird if we were related.
But Daddy said hello, so I'm looking for information on him.
I'll look for books on Asmodeus and I guess the 9 hells in general.
Okay.
So I assume that's investigation?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll investigation.
All this
19.
is going on. Thelva's just talking to the page turner. Talking
Well,
books.
that's kind of why I was doing this on my own.
Yes. And by the way, before I continue on, what's Hibara doing? Is she sort of hanging out? Or
She just sort of followed Clue and Mara into this, but just sort of hanging out, holding this fern.
All right. So as you go down the aisles, you start to see that the numbers relate to different topics. And even though you don't necessarily know which numbers go with which topics, you can kind of read 3 or 4 titles and get a sense. So there's a section on gardening. There's a section on military history. There's a section on artificer kind of things. But then eventually you do get to a section on religion. And it's not a huge book, but it's maybe, twice the width of your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Tolva's tome of the, or sorry, Tolva's Tale of the Nine Hells. And it looks to be written in a way that's kind of accessible. It doesn't look overly scholarly. It looks like it's sort of written for a layperson, and it seems pretty reasonable in price.
Yeah, so I also assume it's written in common, not infernal or
It's written
anything.
in common.
Okay.
Yes.
By the way, just as I'm looking through the books, do I notice any books that are like written in infernal?
No, you don't, but you suspect that given the extensive nature and collection, that might be something that Rishal would have for customers who asked for it, since it would be more of a special request, and this is more of a popular book area.
Okay. Guess it's better to start Mara off with something he doesn't need to translate anyway.
Mhm.
So just like hand the book over. I mean,
The more specialist stuff is probably up on the second floor.
Mhm. So like just like hands over the book. This should give you a general idea. If you have more specific question, you can always ask. I
Okay.
kind of have a vested interest in the topic.
Mara's eyes widen and go, "Ooh, pretty book," and she takes it and walks off with it.
You need to pay for that, honey.
I know that, Ducky.
Okay, so that's going. The book is going to be 5 silver pieces.
Well, Mara's not done.
Oh, okay. Just so you know, that's the price on it.
Was Clue the only one who noticed the stuff on military tactics?
He was just going past it, sort of muttering, "Oh, this is gardening. Oh, this is the history of Waterdeep. Oh, this is military stuff." Just sort of like trying to muse as he was trying to figure out what the books, how they were clustered together. So I don't know if anyone
Mara
else
walks back towards military tactics.
Okay.
And looks for anything investigation, I guess, again.
Yeah, go ahead.
You would think I would be better at to see if there's anything about the second god.
Oh, on Tempest.
On Tempest, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'm really bad at this game.
It's not
I mean, the dice are the dice, man. It's how it be.
When Mara looks at the books, they don't actually say anything here about the gods, the god himself. It tends to be more like, how to organize yourself to fight as infantry, or how to use archers to take out sorcerers. It seems to be less about the art of like the worship of war, and more about the actual day-to-day details.
Is there a book called The Worship of War by chance?
Would you like to ask Rishal, the page turner, or would you want to ask Clue? Or...
Well, is there a book in front of you just said 3 words.
Yes, yeah. I would say that if Mara wanted to find it, she would probably need to go back to the religion section.
Oh, okay. Well, the only reason I say anything is because you just said 3
Yes,
words that
the worship of
Mara
war.
would be like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So since this is more practical, you might think that go ahead and just like let's just have you. It's not really roll intelligence. Give me an intelligence, straight up intelligence roll. 10. Yeah, you can. She was in the religion section. She's not seeing the same kind of books and the same kind of titles, so she works out that since it was the god was in that one section that she needed, is probably the other god as well.
All right. So she tracks back.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to look for Tempest. I know you want to read the book. No. We'll pay for the book, and everything will be fine. You get to read your book. I'll get to read my book, and things will be fine. And Mara's just now having a full-blown argument with herself.
Flo is getting worried, considering she's been asking about, the devil, and he's now arguing with herself. He's bit perturbed.
All right. Mar gets back and looks for 2 words: tempest and war.
Yes. She
So
finds. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a another investigation, but this time with advantage.
Okay.
She's in the right section.
There we go.
Yes. So she finds a title that says Tempest and His Warriors, which has Tempest and War in it. And as she pulls out the cover of the book, she can see the symbol of Tempest, and then there seems to be like drawings of various individuals holding different weapons. So by looking at the table of contents, it seems to be a history of famous people who worshipped Tempest and like how they honored him and how their relationship went.
How does this sound? Are we okay with this? Am I okay with reading this, or are you gonna be like, are you gonna be all cranky pants if I read this book? I could read this book. Okay, cool. Mara wants. All right. Mara's done.
She's got her books.
She's got her books.
Okay. Both of them are 5 silver pieces.
Yay. Mara walks up to the page turner.
Oh, fantastic. You found some books. Well, if you want to solve problems, a first great place to start is a book. I'm so happy. Yes, so normally each of these would be 5 silver pieces, but as a welcoming gift to you and to the rest of the party, you can go ahead and have them both for 5 silver pieces.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, that's so happy.
Yes, well,
Mighty generous of you.
there's nothing more precious than a love of books, and that is really what I am aiming to do here.
Oh, I
I-
heartily agree.
I do have one question. You wouldn't happen to have any books on the worship of... I'm asking. Jeez, calm down. The worship of war.
Oh. Do you mean Tempest, the god of war?
No, the worship of war.
You mean the conflict itself?
Yes.
Well, he sort of actually makes a note. He says that in terms of let me get back to you. Tell you what, give me a day or two. Next time you're in the area, stop by. Let me go up to the 2nd floor and see what I can find. Can you say a little bit more? Sometimes, for instance, you'll find people who fall in love with battle. But is that what you're looking for? Do you have a book in mind, or do you have a topic in mind? I want to make sure I get the right book for you.
No, from what I understand, war is a minor deity,
Well, they can
maybe?
definitely look into the guide to the gods, and I'll do some deep research. But definitely come back in a day or two, or next time you're in the area. I will have a look after work tonight in my private collection as well as in my upstairs collection, and if I find any books that seem to fit that criteria, I will set them aside. He kind of points behind him to a shelf that it doesn't open up, it kind of slides. He says, "This is where I keep all my special orders and all of the books that people ask me to put aside. I will leave it there for you until you come back." I'll leave anything I
Delightful.
find. Of course.
And she hands over 1 gold piece, since that's all she had.
Oh, okay. So he gives her change, which is 5 shards from a dragon. Is it 95 silver back?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, isn't silver 10 silver, 1 gold?
Tell silver. So it would be 5 silver.
5
piece
silver
from-
back, yeah.
So 95. Okay. Let me see. I think. Well, basically, you get the correct change, and ask me that afterwards. I'll make sure I get it right. I know that there are shards and nibs, and that there are a couple that.
Yeah,
are
I
worth
think
2.
it's 10 copper is 10 silver, and 10 silver is 1 gold, and then I think it's 2 silvers, 1 electrum, and then I don't really know what's going on with platinum.
Yeah, yes. So
I thought 10 silver was electrum, and then 10 electrum was gold.
No, electrum is like a weird amount.
well, I actually am looking at. I've got nibs, shards, and towel. Tao is brass coin, and it's about it's worth 200 nibs. I'll have to figure out because 1 shard is worth 10 nibs, and that's 1 silver. So we'll get you the right change later. I gotta make a note. If I just sent you a DM, I'll do it. But just for the sake of gameplay, you got the right change back.
Awesome.
Okay, guess we'll say goodbye to the bookkeep. And on to the...
As you leave the scent of earthy books, and go back out into the sunny street.
Actually, as we leave, Clue is just gonna quickly try and say something to Mara in Infernal and just check if she can, like, understand them. Just like a basic question. He's just gonna say, like, maybe don't ask about Asmodeus too openly in Infernal.
Mara just looks at him confused.
Not related,
what
I
now?
guess. It's nothing. Just don't talk about Asmodeus so much. It draws eyes.
Okay, I can do that.
Right, so you're noticing that it's getting probably to be at this point, because you sat with 3 different people now. It's getting close to be an hour if you wanted to get back and have your meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Just do that before we meet the last couple neighbors.
All right. So as you are, you guys get back. There's nobody waiting for you yet. But as you sort of like go into the front door.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah. I can now, actually, now that you're back in, I will go ahead and we'll put you back on the Manor map so that you guys can, you'll be downstairs. You get in and no, nothing really has seemed to change. There's, other than when Thelvar, of course, walks in, immediately that sort of like darkness lifts a bit.
Keep your bad, somebody.
And, I guess you use the next couple of minutes just to sort of like, there is one place where there's you've used the bar area to sign the paperwork, but you actually notice that when you look at some of the tables, you can put together a table, a table and some chairs, enough for, like 8 people to sit, or 2 tables of 4. That way, at least, like, they're a little bit rickety, but they seem to be safe. And as you guys finish this up, there's a knock on the door.
Clue just goes and opens it up.
All right. And standing there is the gentleman that you guys met at the yawning portal last night, bumped into in the street. And his he's a guest. Omen Drawn. We talked earlier about the appointments. Good to see you all again. May I come in?
Nice to see you. And please go ahead.
He walks in. He's also carrying with him this sort of satchel kind of bag with him. And by the way, he's a human. He's bald, fair-skinned. He's got darker, like dark brown eyes. Medium build. And probably in his, let's say, 40s or so, maybe mid-40s. And again, he's not wearing anything that... He's sort of like... He looks professional in his cloak and his dark-colored... like he's got sort of a grayish-black... more on the black side than the gray, but it's not like a deep black. It's more like a softer kind of black clothing that he wears. It looks very nice and very form-fitting, but it doesn't seem to signify... It's nothing you recognize, as belonging to any service industry or any kind of jobs that you've seen. And he says, "Yes. May we sit?"
Of course. Take a seat.
Excellent. Right. right. So, first, let me start off by saying I feel like you should know you probably are going to hear from more people than just me. See, when Volo, Floon, and Renair left, I trailed, so I talked to you guys, and then I sort of left after them. I walk up that same main road to get back to where I live. I noticed that the three of them, rather than going home, went into another bar. Curious.
Does not surprise me.
Yep.
It seemed like Floon had convinced himself that if he just had one more beer, he would feel better. Well, as it was, I sat in. I saw a friend of mine. Actually, bumped into them in the bar once you get out of the dock area. And as my friend and I were drinking, well, as I said, Volo's voice carries, and Floon's voice carries. Renier eventually went home, but the two of them stayed a while, Floon regaling Volo with his tales and also mentioning your names quite often. Then they disappeared. I stayed with a friend. But then as I was going home about an hour after that, I saw them at a different bar, outside drinking and dropping your names again. Now, as it is, it seemed like they did a pub crawl where the tales of what happened grew taller. I don't know if they grew taller. I mean, what you guys did was pretty impressive. But just to say,
Thank you very much.
your names are being bandied about all over town. And you might know that with a change in recent leadership in Waterdeep, even though things have been a bit more stable, they are also a bit more fluid. Many of the factions in the city feel that there's some shifting going on. They're looking for good people to participate or to join their factions. And so don't be surprised, I would say. Having lived in Waterdeep for a while and having my finger a little bit on the pulse of the politics, I would say that you might have quite a lot of people interested in hiring you and your services or getting you on side for their own ends. So just a bit of local knowledge for, I think some of you here are longtime Waterdeep residents, but I think two of you are not. And he pulls out from his satchel sort of like a bunch of paperwork. You notice that it's got a cat's eye on the corner in a sort of logo. And he sort of like puts his paperwork down and said, all right, so first thing. I run here in town, I guess you would call it a kind of a specialized guild. You see, and he pulls out from his pocket a business card and he hands each of you one. It's black paper. Actually, no, it's like a dark green kind of paper. And it's not gold leafed. He's a little too cheap for that. But in a sort of yellow paint that's look like gold color. You see an S and a G. And underneath in block print, it says Solutions Guild. And he hands each of you one of them. You see, I work here in town. We run a guild. It operates within a very specific part of the market here at Waterdeep. You see, if you haven't, and not just in Waterdeep, we actually are operating in other cities around Faerun as well. But it's just very messy when somebody like a town has a troll problem and they put up an advertisement on a board. You never know what kind of adventurers you're going to get. You might get people who are way overpowered for the job and end up extorting you for money. Or you might get people who have no idea what they're doing and then you end up with liability suits because people who don't know one end of the sword from the other end up trying to be an adventurer and getting killed. The Solutions Guild is a way to... Well, we're not sellswords, so we don't operate in that market, and we're not an Assassin's Guild because those are illegal. But sometimes people need problems solved. They might need an area cleared out, or they might need something investigated, and we provide those solutions. As an example, the work that I'd like to hire you for is precisely the kind of jobs we get at the Solutions Guild. Were any of you awakened by an earthquake this morning?
Oh,
connected. But I'm back now, I think. So, all right. He says, all right, well, what I'm about to tell you is not to be talked about. It's definitely confidential. It will come out eventually, but the city is keeping a lid on it. When the earthquake happened, down in the dock ward area, a fissure opened up. And after things had settled down, some of the locals went to explore inside the fissure. It seems that there is a series of the tunnels, or something that goes down deeper. Now, it's kind of inconvenient. There's a lot of rules and regulations and guild requirements and health and safety. But what it comes down to is the City Watch is responsible for the streets and maybe into the sewers. Even into the sewers, there's some legal jurisdiction about being underground and all this sort of thing. You guys know that we're on top of the Undermountain. And as a consequence, the City Ward wants nothing to do with anything that comes up from the Underdark if they can avoid it. So they kind of delineate their powers very specifically. This fissure, it seems, would go deeper into the earth. And now I've been talking with the City Watch. They are interested in hiring us as a Solutions Guild if the city's initial investigation finds that it goes deeper than is allowed to by the union contracts. They want to hire us in order to go down below the city line where the union won't work without extra protection. This isn't that uncommon. Sometimes the City Watch don't want to deal with things that adventurers can more efficiently deal with, and so they'll contract out special work. Now, the problem is, I'm in town today, but my team and I are actually scheduled to leave tomorrow. You guys handled yourself pretty well with that troll. You also managed to clear out a Xanathar guild hideout, from what I understand. If you guys can do that, you can probably handle anything that the City Watch finds that they can't handle themselves. But they are going to do a preliminary examination. They are going to send some officers down today. They're going to do an assessment and get back to me within the next 72 hours. Now, they came to me offering 500 gold to do the job. I can't do the job, but I am willing to hire you for a small finder's fee of only 20%, meaning that if the city needs backup and you go and clear out completely, leaving nothing behind, no problems or things that could be revivified or whatever else, make sure you kill everything that's down there dead if it's not human or humanoid or a creature that we is covered by laws here in Waterdeep. 400 gold. Is that something that you guys feel that that's a job you could take?
That's some.
I mean, would to cover a solid bit of the renovation costs.
It would.
Well, yeah. So, do you need me to leave for a little while? Do you guys want to discuss this as a group? I can go outside and.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he'll get up. He's like, "Tell you what, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go across and get some tea from the flower place, or I don't know. He's gonna go and do something. He'll come back in about 10 minutes if you guys want to have a little talk about his offer."
I mean, obviously we're going to take it. The question is, do we think he's going to be able to move from that 20% of his?
Oh, is everybody still there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still here.
Yes.
Okay. I think
I say let's do it. I'm up for some exploring and some killing.
I don't really understand. Like, he said he's the problem solvers, but
Yeah,
then he went on and on and on and on and on
I'm just
about
wondering.
nonsense and not solving any problems. What does he want? What is he doing?
He finds the people to solve the problems.
It's called administrative work.
Yes. Exactly.
Get it, but it's kind of crucially involved.
You're breaking up a bit.
You guys think he'll move from a 20%? Okay.
Yeah,
So
just maybe check
he's
your
going to pay us
connection, John.
20%, but then also pay us 250 gold. Or
No,
was that my math off?
Unless I missed
Takes
something.
20%.
He's getting
and
paid
leaving
500. He's offering to pay us 400 because he's taking a 20% finder's fee. 20% off of 500 being 400. So
I say if he doesn't pay us the 400, we string him up by his fingernails.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's sure, but I'm wondering if we can get more than 400 if we pressure him a bit. But then again, might have more deals coming our way if we don't.
I mean, 20% is not a bad finder's fee. Also, if we keep a good working relationship, that means that he will tell people about us.
And we'll have more work in future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, if he does try to jip us, I am going to hang him by his fingernails.
Don't worry, Mara. I'll be right with you when that happens.
So should we let him back in?
Yeah, you see him kind of like you see him his shadow kind of.
So
pass
I guess
by the
just.
door.
Guess I'll just walk.
Okay, what
And
did I miss while I was kicked out of chat?
Oh no!
How do you end up outside?
Oh, he left so you guys could have a conversation.
He walked outside.
Okay.
Yeah. So what?
Okay, so yeah.
Yes. What have you guys?
Yeah. We'll accept your terms as stated. We'll accept your terms as stated.
Oh well, actually, I've got better terms for you. In that,
Really now?
you are
Okay.
all right. Well, one thing I forgot to mention, which I apologize for, but will be in your contract if you guys decide to sign, is whatever treasure you find along the way, you guys get to keep. However, actually, let's talk a little bit. I told you that I'm a problem solver, and you
That you
guys
did.
have. He looks around the tavern. Says you guys have probably a cash flow problem. I can imagine. You see, at Solutions Guild, we like to actually establish little adventuring parties. We have one in Faladin down the road, and we're looking to have somebody be our sort of contact point in the North Ward here in Waterdeep. Normally what we would do is we would work with people, and as they develop their skills and we built up a relationship with them, we would give them a headquarters. We would set them up, and then we would give them jobs, taking a percentage on the commission, and then they would do the work. But you guys already have a building, so we don't normally wouldn't have that problem. You guys are also a pretty good party, so you have a facility, you already have your building, you're an experienced party, you're also the buzz of the town. Not only would I like to hire you for this job, I would like to recruit you for a 1-year temporary, 1-year contract with the Solutions Guild. Now, let me tell you, we've got quite a lot of things that I think will make your lives a lot easier, and also it will allow us some peace of mind that when a job comes through, we can give it to the North Ward branch, and you will all take care of it. May I continue telling you a little bit about how our operation would work, and kind of where we see you fitting into it?
Well, it definitely has me intrigued.
Okay.
Can we take other jobs, or are we working exclusively for you?
No. You'll want to build your reputation by getting a good clientele. So you are certainly the only time that if we send you a job, you won't really be able to refuse it. You'll have to kind of do it in a timely manner because it's sort of like our contract. But you're not exclusive to us, nor do you have to give us commission for any of your other work. We will give you work. We'll take the commission out beforehand, but you are then, of course, free to charge whatever you want or make any other contracts independent. The only requirement that we would ask is that you would put the Solutions Guild somewhere in your tavern sign so that people would identify you with us and know that they can come to you for contracting or get advice or something.
I think we could manage that.
Okay, I'm gonna metagame for a second because all right, so to run a tavern, you guys already know it's going to cost you 1,000 gold pieces or dragons. That's from the manual straight up. I want to explain because it's easier for me to do less as Omen and more as just a straight up at least how D&D runs a normal business. Normally it's pretty boring. Normally what it is to run a business costs 150 gold pieces per month. So the party would have to come up with that. But for that money, you get you get 5 untrained hirelings and 1 trained hireling. And then the way that you work money, the money is that you guys sort of say, okay, well, in this month, 5 of us are going to work for 5 days each on this. You would get 5 people times 5 days would be 25 base points. And then I could like roll a percentage dice, and depending on and you can add more on it to sort of go over, but the idea is you would roll your percentage dice to see if you cover your expenses and if you do or not. Now, what I have is I got Omen drawn. What I have for you is a slightly more is a much more exciting opportunity. First, for a 1-year contract at 120 gold pieces a month, I will advance you the money you need to do your renovations. Because you have the building, and normally that's an expense we would already outlay. So for that you're in your contract, you get the advance, it's worked back in your contract. You then would get, as staff, a major domo. You would get 2 untrained staff to work here. They could work at the bar, they could cook or clean, they could build you a garden in the back, whatever you'd like. And you would get 1 skilled hireling. So the work of the major domo is they are sent from head office. And the major domo is someone who is here to help your business be successful. They would stay on your property the whole time, managing things while you were traveling for work. They would be responsible for updating you with any communications, any requests, like job offers or job requests that come in from the Solutions Guild. They would also be the face of your company when you weren't here. So if you have a tavern, they would be able to operate the tavern for you. The skilled hireling, just as with the other system, you would be able to hire a cleric if you wanted to go with you on a party adventure. Or if you wanted to have entertainment here at the tavern, you could hire a bard for a night. You don't have to keep anyone for any length of time if you have different adventures for which you need essentially different NPCs. Then you would be able to swap them out at the end for another one. Now, the other kind of cool thing about the way that this system works is that instead of just rolling dice, once a month you have to do what's called a task. It's called a franchise task. But you guys, like your first task, if you decided to go this way, would be the renovations. And it's a skill test. Have you guys done skill checks before in D&D?
No.
Okay. I think we did them a little bit, maybe sometimes with R&D when we went through the forest. So it's like in order to get to this one location, everyone has to do something and they have to roll higher than like a 10 or something on their skill check. And if you do that, then you succeed on the goal. If not, maybe you get lost for a half an hour. So in this case, once per month, which would probably end up being like a total of 3 times over the course of the campaign, you would be given like a task. So I think I've got here like there's a skill you can I've got the rules I've written. Each player can try up to 3 times to pass a skill check. and you want to get 4 total successes. And if you get 4 total successes, you get a reduction in your total cost by 10%. If you get all 5, you get a reduction of 20% or 30%. And so basically, it's a way to, like, you could say, I'm going to use my persuasion skills to talk to the Carpenters Guild about using wood that is a little bit, looks a little bit nicer, but at a discount or something like that. And then you roll a skill check. And when you did those, then you would get, if you passed your skill check, or there would be some sort of outcome. And then the way that you organize your costs, there's a whole way of like figuring out your costs that are better for making you money. If you like reduce the cost of running your business, you can keep up to like 60 gold pieces of that 120 per month that you have to pay. So let's see. Yes, the Solutions Guild will take 20% commission or finder's fee for referrals. The team keeps any treasure they find. Oh, also, the Solutions Guild provides you with a free identify spell for any magic items that you bring back that you can't identify. But in exchange, if the party decides they don't want to keep that magical item, the Solutions Guild gets sort of right of first refusal to offer you a price on it.
Sounds fair.
Yes, and then he pulls out again his satchel and he says, and if you are interested, what I'd like to do is give you some of our sample magic items that we use to support our franchises. These will be good for the next 5 days because I'm not quite sure, I'll be out of town. But if you're interested, since you're taking the job anyway, I'll go ahead and give them to you now. So he reaches into the satchel and he pulls out a nondescript coin pouch and he hands it to Mara. And he says, go ahead and reach inside that bag.
Mara follows his instructions with extreme trepidation.
Yeah. Her hand keeps going in. Like, even though it's only a coin purse, her hand goes all the way up to its elbow. He's just giving you a bag of holding. He said, remember, after 5 days, the magic disappears, so make sure you take anything out of there, or it's gone. But this way, if you guys need to get some stuff past the city guards, some flashy things on your way out, this will make it a lot easier. He turns to Clue, and he gives you I've got it here. I'm going to have to look this up. Sorry, I'm going to come back to you, Clue. I'm going to get the other people and then I'll Thelvar, he reaches into the satchel again and he says, so from what I understand, you already have the frame for this. And he hands you a piece of glass in the shape of a monocle.
Oh, thank you very much.
So...
And what exactly does this lens do?
Yeah, so once per day, you can make a choice. You can either turn that into the eyes of minute seeing, or you can turn it, which gives you an advantage on investigations, or you can turn it into eyes of the eagle, which gives you an advantage on perception. And every day at dawn, you'll have to assign it, or, after dawn, you'll have to assign it a role. So you can make a decision on the fly, but once it's locked into it for the next 24 hours.
Mighty useful.
Eyes of an eagle.
Yes. Hibara, he says...
she sits upright.
Yes.
She's been kind of slumping in her chair this whole time.
He hands you an abacus. He pulls out this sort of abacus-y looking kind of thing. And he says, this actually has the ability to understand how deaths affect your party. But in this case, and he points at one bead near the top of it, he said, this is a bead of instant karma. If you use this as a reaction... you can use this as a reaction whenever you see a creature that's about to make an ability check or an attack roll or a saving roll. He doesn't use those terms. But if you're about to be attacked or something, you can go ahead and use this bead once, and they will have to roll with disadvantage, basically. It crumbles to dust after you use it, and it reappears the next day. The last thing. All right, let me find the Documancer. And oh yes, okay. Yes, actually, he's going to. That was it. The scroll service. Where did you go? That's because I'm on the wrong one. I had all these written down, and then I crossed them out because I changed my mind. So I was like, no, and then the scroll service. Yes. Okay. Right. So, he hands you, unlike Mara, who had a more nondescript coin sort of bag, he gives you more like a satchel closer to his. And he said that once per day, you can use this, call inside it. The main office, the main guild office, will send you a 3rd level spell. Once per day.
3rd level. Fancy.
Yes. And then, yes. So, oh wait, there's something else. Forgetting. I remembered that I forgot. Okay. I'll just continue on. So basically, he's like, look, we're very interested in keeping a foothold in a lot of different areas of the politics of Waterdeep. And looking around, he sort of looks at you. You guys are a very interesting collection. He looks at Clue and he says, you've come up from the roughest areas in town, and managing by your wits and your wiles and your charm to make connections already with the Zents. That's a good connection to have. And then he looks over at Thelvar and says, you've got a lot of noble connections. You also, whether you know it or not, have somebody you know in the Harpers. They will approach you. You have an opportunity to move up. This is a very interesting combination for an adventuring party. And I have to say, you guys could help us keep up with Waterdeep politics. He looks at Mara and he says, what we know about you is that you have a lot of potential, maybe in the Enforced Grey or the Lord's Alliance. You seem like you have a proclivity for fighting. There are a lot of people who want to take advantage of that. And then looks at Hibara and says, your background is also a little bit questionable, hard to figure out. I don't know if you guys noticed, I was going to the Private Eye down the road that you were in your neighborhood. I actually stopped by to see him before I came to see you. Remind me I have maybe something to say about the ghost. Anyway, Hibara, it's always good to have a connection with the Druids. And your piece of that pie added in here with a little bit in the Zents and a little bit with the Harpers, a little bit in the political and a little bit of the Druids. It takes a lot for me to offer somebody a 1-year contract without having done much work first. But if you guys pull off this job, I think we have the beginnings of a really great future. And there might be even more exciting work coming your way. Oh, one last thing. I know everybody in the guilds. So if one of the other things you can do is you can, if you decide to go with us as Solutions Guild, because I think I'm offering you something you can't refuse, your Major Duomo would be the person who could handle all of the day-to-day dealings with the guilds. If you wanted to meet with the guild's masters and mistresses in person, the Major Domo can set that up. If you want to assign them the work of making sure the roofers get things done correctly, they can handle it. That's what they're there for. And your Major Domo. Yes, well, it's your pick, really. If you guys decide to go with an upscale bar, we could get you somebody whose parent was famous and they are sort of similar, like kind of famous to their parents, just to be someone who can add a little spice. If you think of offering to the slightly more, shall we say, earthy crowd, people who are more interested in brawling than brie, well, then maybe you want someone with a fighter background. Basically, the kind of Major Domo you would have to run your business here would reflect the kind of values that you were aiming for and complement them in every way. And with that, he closes his satchel, except he's pulled out a contract for this current job. And on it, he's already got in ink 400 in payment with a 20% commission already in writing. So just so you know. I know I've thrown a lot at you. If you want some time to think it over, tell you what, if you want some time to think it over, he gets out a piece of paper. He says, "This is a paper bird." Are you guys familiar with paper birds here in Waterdeep?
I'm familiar with them, yes.
Okay. Well, for those who are new in town, and by the way, if you are going to stick around, we should really sort out your citizenship paperwork, and I can help you with that. You can go ahead and write me a note here, fold it up, tell it to send it to Omen Drawn, and I will receive it. Unless, of course, you have any questions for me. But if you want me to stay and answer questions, I will. If you want to talk about it and have me come back in a while, I will. If you want me to just wait to hear from you, I will. But I have to say, I think that you have a problem and I have a solution. I have a problem and you are my solution.
Well, sounds good to me.
Okay, so I know I just did a big
I got
dump
no
on
complaints.
you. So,
Does.
well, is
What do you think, Habara?
What do I think of what?
All the information he threw at us.
To be honest, I kind of zone out for most of it.
Oh, you're my favorite.
Must have been expected. But sounds like a good deal.
well, if we have a
Should
go
have
on an
at the very least
adventure.
do the job.
all right. If we have a deal, then we can go ahead and sign this one job contract. If you guys do meet the criteria, which is to deal with any problems you come across that could cause a city grief in the future, then when I get back from my business trip, we can sit down and talk about a full-time contract. But in the meantime, let's operate on the idea that you are going to go ahead and we can get you going with your major domo and your 2 unskilled hirelings. And even a skilled hireling if you want, right away.
Chef.
I heard Madame Cookery is free.
Yes, please. Cookery.
Really, I thought I'd heard that she died.
She was too good. They had to bring her back to life.
Ah.
Yes, I heard that Monsieur
Yes,
Cookery
Monsieur.
was the one who valiantly brought her back to life and didn't kill that slime monster thing in the process.
Sure.
Yes, we'll have to get the details from her personally. Well, I think then if I can offer you some advice going forward, I think you guys should have a discussion about what you want this place to be. What kind of vibe do you want? What kind of clientele do you want? That kind of thing. Is there a theme to it? How much of it, like where will you do your business? Or whatever else, whatever decisions you guys, you all decide to make. Let me just be honest. When it comes to the Major Duomo, think of like Alfred, or think of, what's Tony Stark's?
Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Jarvis?
Okay, that's the kind of role I see.
Wait, can we have Jarvis?
You can call them Jarvis, but they won't exactly be Jarvis.
No, can we have Jarvis?
There's not the technology for a real Jarvis here. Sorry.
I mean, if we make him, Warforged.
No, like the Jarvis from whatchamacallit?
Yeah, in the comics,
Agent Carter.
In the comics, Jarvis was just a human.
Oh, okay. I only watched like a couple episodes of that series. You guys, you can have whatever you want. So there are two ways you can do it.
Jarvis.
I can either kind of do a random roll up of an NPC, or in another session, because I think it would be too much tonight, you guys can kind of do it like a CV. We'll just roll you. Like, you guys can pick a class, you can pick a subclass for them. I'll give you like an estimate on levels. You can decide kind of what characteristics and mannerisms they have, and basically like design the person you would want to be there when you come home at night. So
Yeah, I like the
I want
sound of
Jarvis.
that. Well, we can design our own Jarvis.
Well, no, I want Jarvis or Alfred. Like, I am now stuck on these, and I'm sure R&D would have warned you. You shouldn't have made mention of
Jarvis.
like, any of this, because I would have just been like, nope, I'm stuck here now. This is where I live. This is the hill I die on.
Well, I think, I mean, you guys can obviously decide. I think if you think about what you want the tavern to be like, then the kind of your Jarvis will follow. But yeah, if you know, you guys, yeah. So he asks. Oh, sorry. You want to say something? Okay.
Yeah, I believe we had kind of discussed that we were going to go a bit more upmarket to fit in with the aesthetic of the North Ward surroundings. And the reason we want the chef is because with Thelvar's connections at Haydar's Folly, the premier source of silver chalice at this end of the Deathchain River, we're in brilliant position to have a signature dish here of silver chalice, which should bring in some nice clientele. Hence, we need a decent chef to prepare those meals.
Everyone roll perception. Okay. Clue?
Did we lose him?
No. Sometimes the sheet is just, it's hard to find the right button in the sheet. I've been there myself. Oh, right. All right. So, Mara's kind of distracted with her books. Like, she's sort of like been looking at the cover of her book. But the rest of you notice that Omen his eyes have stopped. He's been very good at keeping eye contact with you the entire time. But now he is looking behind the bar. If I, get the right thing here. Yeah, so you guys are sat here in this area. Where you are. And there's actually, behind here, there's like a big glass, which is, like people come and they can see themselves in the glass mirror or whatever else in this part of the bar. And he's staring at the glass behind the bar. And as you follow his gaze, and you can then point it out to other people, Hibara, Thelvar, and Clue, you see finally what he's looking at. And what you see is a dot, and then next to it, it's being drawn a second dot equidistant, and then a curve under it. And you realize that there is a smiley face being drawn into the dust of the mirror by an unseen hand, as you guys are describing what your plans are for the bar.
Yay!
Aww.
We made our spiritual house
So
guest
is it in the more
happy.
emotional-
Yay!
Omen says, "Oh, right. Oh, God, sorry."
But ghost.
Emotional support ghost.
He sort of circulates around the contract for this current job, not the 1-year contract with you guys, and as you're signing, you notice that after the smiley face, both in common and in Elvish, is written, "Yay!"
Oh, best day ever.
Omen collects the
Aw.
paperwork after you've signed it and says, "Oh yes, meet Liff. He's a former owner of the tavern and loved this place. Has all his good memories here. I think what he really wants is for someone to care for this place as much as he did." All right. Well, it's been
Aw.
a pleasure dealing with you. I will be in touch probably in about, well, the city. You'd say 1 day, so double it. Yeah, probably 2 days' time. I will reach you by paper bird or some other means. Give you an update on when you can start out on, clearing out anything that the city finds that they can't handle.
That sounds fabulous.
All right, and he shakes your hand and goes on his way.
Take care, my friend.
So, I'll give you guys a little chance. I know I've been doing a lot of exposition dump, but with the whole idea of the business and incorporating this, it's basically a second module that I got to help run this part of the story. Now I'm going to shut up and let you guys actually role play and develop your characters and develop your new home.
I think that went well. Yes, our spiritual house guest is definitely happy with our decisions, which makes me very happy.
Yay!
I mean, a happy ghost means less problems, right?
No, indeed.
I told you. No one wants to believe the kid.
And as for my suggestion for the name of our...
Oh no! Where did she go? Come back to us. Come back.
If you have connection
She
issues,
was talking about the ghost. No, is the ghost.
Ghost in the machine.
Yep.
All right. So, okay, there we go.
If you have communication issues, clap your hands.
Right, at what point did I cut off?
The name
Suggested that it
of
was place.
Yes. The name I suggest in honor of our spiritual house guest is the Old Haunt.
Seems kind of insulting to him.
No, it's completely in
well, this
honor
place
of
is
them.
old and it's haunted.
Sounds good.
Yes, I was kidding.
And I mean, maybe he could serve drinks.
I mean,
And as you say that, Mara, you see a glass being picked off, one of the ones that are still intact, and brought over. It floats up off of the shelf over to the tap, and you see the tap move forward, and actually a beer starts to flow out of the tap. Leaf has gone and tapped, put it in a new keg, and goes ahead and pours a beer. And sort of slides it along the bar a little bit, so it's just on the surface of the bar.
do not mind if I do. Just grab the beer and starts just slowly drinking from it.
Yeah, and it's spelled L-I-F. I might say Leaf because I'm used to saying Leif Erikson, but it's Liff.
Oh my God, Leif Erikson. I love it. I love it so much.
Liff Erikson.
Okay, so Glue just like slowly moves. So what do you guys want to do? We still
like
have a
Old
couple of
Hunt.
neighbors to introduce us.
Yes, I think introduce ourselves to the rest of the neighbors and we can get on to our assigned task in the morning, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Sounds good.
Okay, and
To the neighbors we go.
take you back to Trollskull Alley.
And on the way out, I say, in perfect Elven, to Leaf. Back soon. Take care.
Yeah, you can't see him wave, but he waved.
He makes me so happy.
Yep.
I always wanted a ghosty friend.
Just hope Mara doesn't kill him.
I don't kill ghosts.
I mean, if War has a bad moment, I don't trust you.
Or doesn't kill ghosts either.
Does she make an exception for ghosts?
She'll make an exception for you.
Well, I would guess this one first because we'd have to go past this to get to the other one.
All right. So as you approach, you see a wooden sign that hangs above the shop, except unlike other wooden signs, they're painted or something. They've got a symbol on them. This is just basically got a large bent nail sticking out of it. Like it's just a piece of wood with a massive nail that's bent, sticking out. And as you look inside the sort of the front window, you can see quite a lot of wooden furniture and other wood items. And you can see that there's someone behind the counter as well.
Looks like a carpentry.
Yeah. You guys going in?
Oh,
Yep.
Yep.
As the door opens, a guy who's like sanding something looks up. He is what is he? Is he a human? Oh, he's a half elf, a male half elf, and he is sanding some wood product and puts a smile on his face. Gets a big smile and says, hello and good morning. Welcome to the Bent Nail."
Greetings. I am Thalvar Mordegrain, and these are my companions, and we have recently come into possession of Trollskull Manor at the corner there, which we are going to be renovating and opening up as a tavern. And we were just introducing ourselves to our new neighbors.
Yes, well, welcome. That's quite a project you're taking on. I mean, Trollskull Manor, it's a beautiful building, don't get me wrong. It's one of the most beautiful structures we've got here on the road, but that's good luck and best wishes. Welcome to the neighborhood. Of course, if you ever need anything that has to do with wood, you can always come and see me. Of course, if you're going to do any carpentry work, you got to go through the guild. But when it comes to some of the supplies, or if you need any quarterstaffs or wooden canes or wooden shields, whatever you need, please do think of me first, and I'll come over and try your ales as well, just to be a good neighbor and a good customer.
Sounds very good.
Well,
Mara perked up at quarterstaff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Clue, sorry, you gonna say something?
Yeah, just that we'll have plenty of woodwork that needs doing.
He smiles. He notices so when Mara looks over, there's how like at a bar they have a place to hang pool sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that except for quarterstaffs. Different kinds of woods, different grains, different sizes. Some that have, metal on the top. Some that have spikes on the top. Some that have just like a big rock with wire, kind of almost like sewn in. With like there's holes in it to stabilize it. Ones that are more like two-handed. Ones that are obviously more one-handed and dexterous. But the guy's like. He's got, he seems to be able to pull out of the wood its best parts and then really take out its own talents and put that into his craft. So.
Mara just starts touching things, like just petting the quarterstaffs, like they're like fluffy animals.
He smiles because he understands what it's like to run your hands along a finished wood product and just how it feels and how important it is to know to feel something in your hand and have it feel right. And so he actually has slight admiration for you that you want to physically touch all of the sticks rather than just going by their aesthetic, how they look.
Oh yeah, he's not going to call me a weirdo.
Who is, but not out loud.
Yeah, so please have a look around. Yeah, well, like the shop is open from 10 to 5, most days, except for the weekends. But yeah, and I'm here about the same. I live in a different part of town, but if you ever see anyone looking around my shop for not necessarily looking through the windows, but looking at the locks, please let me know, and I'll do the same for your property as well.
Oh, thank you very much. That would be much appreciated.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, you guys gonna head over to Steam and Steel then, if you're coming from your place and saying hi to the neighbors?
Yep, I guess so.
Yes,
All right,
that's
well,
exactly where we're heading to next. Thank you.
Tell Embrick and Avi I say hi.
Mm-hmm. Sure
will do.
See ya.
Cool.
I mean, does it have a back door on this side, or do we need to go, like, around?
Well, he knows the back door because he knows those guys, but you're
Yeah, go to the front door. Gotcha.
Yeah. Right.
Mara is very sad about leaving the babies.
You can come back and visit them if you want.
Okay.
Just visit them, watch them a bit. Never buy them, just
Yeah,
watch.
look. Just touch.
Look, but don't touch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fine with touching, apparently.
All right. So because I'm not familiar with this race, I'm going to pull up a picture. Oh, okay. This is more feminine, but the two of them are guys. So anyway, yeah, this is the Ganassi, which is a new D&D race for me. So I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, so as you approach this place, you can see smoke and steam just billowing out of the windows, and you can hear the clang, clang, clang of what's obviously a forge. And the sign outside says Steam and Steel. You can't really see anything when you walk in or you can't see anything through the front windows like you have from the other shops, simply because there's too much chaos going on. So. You guys heading in?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you walk in the front part of the store, it's actually more of it's not an open shop like the wood shop was, where you could just sort of wander, or the bookshelf. Instead, what you see is more like a service counter, and you see a lot of things up on the walls in display. So you can see weapons, armor, shields, whereas the weapons and the armor in the bent nail were wood. This is all made of metal. And as the door opens, it makes a really loud ringing noise. And from the back, you can hear someone saying, Avi, we've got customers. And so you hear sort of like a what, and through the steam of the back room comes through the doorway where the service counter is, a Ganazi with blue. I think, yes. This person is a water Ganazi, and comes through, and no, sorry, I said Avi, right? Avi.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. Is red. He's a fire Ganazi. He comes out and he goes, "Oh, hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? Yeah, welcome to the Steam and Steel, dude. Like, you guys having a good day? You looking to buy some things that are made of metal? Because that's what we do here."
Greetings. We don't see many genocide around these parts. I am Felvar Mordragain, and these are my companions. We have recently come into possession of Trollskull Manor, just at the back there. And We are planning on renovating it and opening it up as a tavern, and we thought we'd introduce ourselves to all our neighbors, and not from any conscious
And
choice,
you're a neighbor.
but yes, you're our neighbor, and you're the last one that we happen to have come to for today.
Oh, well, hey, Trollskull Manor, huh? That's pretty cool. And then from the back, you hear a voice going, "Who is it, Avie?" He like kind of rolls his eyes. He goes, "It's people who've just bought the Trollskull Manor." He's like, "Trollskull Manor? Is that the place on the corner?" He's like, "Oh," and then Abby's like, "Yeah." It's like, "I love him, but he drives me crazy. Embrick, come out here and meet our new neighbors." And Embrick's like, "I'm in the middle of something right now. I can't be dealing with this." Like, Abby's like, "Embrick, come out here and meet our new neighbors." Like, I love them, but we're chalk and cheese, oil and water, the two of us. And it's like, Embrick's like, "Oh, right, just give me a second." And you hear this, sounds like he's put something in water. He comes out sort of wiping his hands, and he's like, "What is going on out here?" Abby, and it's a Embrick is a water genasi, also a guy. I just like there's like who's who and who and who. And Abby goes over and gives him a hug. He's like, "I know you're having a bad day, but come on. There are customers and there are neighbors. You don't want to show them the truth right away, right? You want them to think nice things about us, right, Embrick?" He kind of looks at Abby. He's like, "Hi, everybody. I'm Embrick."
Very pleasant to meet you, Embrick, and we're sorry to have dragged you away from whatever may have been occupying you back there. We were just wanting to make acquaintances with our neighbors, that is all.
"Oh, well, no, it's my fault," Embrick says, and he sort of takes Abby's hand. He says, "If it wasn't for this guy, that's why I married him. It's because he keeps me civil and he reminds me of my manners and how to be nice to people. So, sorry, I was in the middle of something. I get a bit focused, but obviously, welcome to the neighborhood. We're very glad to have a place to drink nearby if you're going to open the tavern again."
Indeed. It'll be a couple of weeks before it's fully up and running, but yes, indeed, we would love to see you both there.
Well, I mean, not to... Abby's like, "Yeah, not to, like, be rude, but it seems like you're probably going to have to do maybe some work on that place. I know that's all run by the guilds, but sometimes, like, when the plumbers come, or when they're fitting in the windows, or when they're running some of the other piping, or they run out of nails, those kinds of jobs, you don't actually need to do a contract. Like, you can get those on the spot because they're considered emergency needs for... If you run out of nails, you can't work, right? So it's more important that you get the job done. Just to let your contractors know, the bent nail, they have good wood, and if you guys need some extra nails or window fittings, door hinges that are a bit awkward and you need done in a hurry, please send them over. And of course, we'll come over by your tavern, make sure that that hard-earned money they spend in our place makes its way back to you as well."
Indeed. Yes, we've already been and introduced ourselves to Tally Sylvanar, who says hi,
yes.
by the way.
Oh, Telly, yeah. The best.
So, yes, would be very honored to use your service as well as theirs for any of our needs should they arise.
Yes, and of course, just stop by and say hi, and we will try to do the same. Won't we, dear?
Of course.
And Abby looks at Embrick. He's like, "Yes, I know. I need to leave. I need to stop working sometimes. I know I need to have more fun. Yes, we can go to the tavern and have a beer, dear." Abby's "Oh, if he wasn't for me, he'd probably die 40 years earlier," Abby says, "from stress. But, well, lovely to meet you guys, meet you all. We're gonna, is there anything else that we can do for you?"
Actually, now you mention it, you guys wouldn't happen to make any arrows here, would you?
Oh, sure. Just, well, you want the tips for the arrows, or do you want them fully assembled?
While fully assembled.
Oh,
would
okay.
be-
Some people like to switch them up, swap them up, depending on the distance or the range. They want a bigger arrowhead for a bigger target, smaller ones, so you don't, well, I have to check, because I think what we've got some that we tend to have Telly put them together. We make the arrowheads and then he puts them together. But if you wanted to ask him about buying a quiver or 20 or so, I'm sure he could help you out. They might be under the counter though. They might not be up on the walls or anything. But kind of like you keep bullets in a drawer. You keep cases of bullets. Yeah, he's got that too. Or it might be in the back. But yeah, he'll have arrows for you.
Great to hear.
Yeah, and we'll testify
Yes.
to good craftsmanship done right here on our forges. So if you've got any problems or anything, you bring that arrow back. If you find any problems with those tips that you get from Telly, you bring them back to us. Don't fire off an arrow that is gonna miss its target when it should have hit.
Yes, you definitely seem to have a fine selection of arms in here. But do you by any chance do work on a, let's say, smaller scale?
What did you have in mind?
Well, you see, I'm looking for a chain to connect this monocle here to. Yes, I'm sure you get what I mean.
Oh, all right. You need a chain to go in the hook here. Yeah. So he says, "May I take it from you?"
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So he's looking at the metal, and he's looking at the clasp, and he's saying, "Yeah, this looks old. Well, what I can do is I can polish it up for you so that this little acid bit here won't keep growing, and I can put a little paste on there to change the chemical composition. I'd also like to reinforce the area where the monocle loop would connect the chain. But in terms of chains, and he opens up a drawer behind him and he pulls out a case, and he's just got sort of like different chain lengths. Some are very whisper thin of gold and silver, and other ones are like kind of just really heavy. I'm thinking of like a Greek man with his shirt open. Is that?
I love it.
There's like a Greek restaurant on the corner near where I live, so that kind of thickness, right? So there's a full range. You could literally go from things that almost look like ropes to things that are very big loops to very tiny loops. Yeah, he's got actually like a full range of chains that would work, and that. Shut up, Alexa. I don't know what she was saying. Yeah, and then the end of it, I'm not quite sure if. Oh, yeah, because you need a little hook to go into the side of your pocket, right? So he can actually has different types of clasps. He can detach and swap them out so that you can get like either a necklace clasp, or you can get one that's a little bit bigger, or you can adjust it for like a monocle to be attached to a little hook inside your coat, your pocket, inside a vest or something, so that it doesn't get lost or whatever.
Yes, that sounds good. And I would say a small to medium rope style chain would give the durability I'm after while still giving the air of delicacy, I think.
Excellent. And in gold or in silver?
Silver, I think.
Okay. Yep. Let's say that costs. I have no idea, and I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to say it's cost 10 silver or 10 shards for the length and the craftsmanship, and like he'll customize it for you actually while you wait, and then also have Avi. Embrick. Actually, go ahead and sear it so that it's not a twisty thing anymore. It's actually cauterized in some ways, so it's really, really solid. It's not going to accidentally unscrew itself from the necklace itself, the hook.
That sounds brilliant. Thank you.
Ooh.
And hands over the 20 silver, 10 silver.
Okay, yes, excellent. Well, thank you so very much. And he actually kind of like throws in a little cloth to polish it and a little like paste in a jar, and he says, for your monocle and this chain, if you want to make sure that you don't actually corrode it over time, there are oils on your hands, or you might have to go into the sewers, or do something where it's going to get covered in acid, perhaps, or maybe exposed to poison. If you use this paste, it will neutralize the effects of basically anything that's not magical from dissolving it or destroying it in any way. There you go. Have that on the house.
Oh, thank you very much. That's mighty fine of you.
No worries at all. Sort of looking over at Hibara, because she's like the one person who's not really said anything, but kind of gives her a smile.
She smiles and nods back and says in Primordial, it's nice to meet you.
Embrick looks a bit surprised, and he replies back, it is very nice to meet you. So, yeah, he's impressed. So that's I think that's it for everybody in the street that you can meet. I think you've met everybody.
Guess
We've met all of our neighbors. We were neighborly.
Yes, you did. And you got books and plants and a place to go to meditate if you need herbal healing for Hibara, and a silver chain, and a lead on arrows when you want to get them.
When you need arrows.
Right. Are you guys heading back to the manor? Are you heading somewhere else?
I think we should head back to the manor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to read my book.
As you are approaching the manor, you notice that Yagra, Clue's friend, is all outside the entrance of the manor.
Clue, looks like your friend over there.
Yeah, definitely does. Hey, Yagra, how's it going?
All right, mate. How you doing?
Fine. Got some work. Nice building. How about you?
Yeah. I heard Volo. That guy's voice really carries. He's talking about your new place, so I thought I'd come check it out. Looks like a real fixer-upper you got here.
Sure does.
Solution for a shithole.
Clue, is there a place we can talk?
I mean, there's plenty of places we can talk.
All right, well, let's find one.
Guess we'll go upstairs. You want to grab something from the top first, or are we cool?
Yeah, you've got something on tap already? Wow, you got your priorities right.
Yeah,
She kind of claps you on the shoulder, kind of knocks you forward about 2 inches as she does.
So yeah, I guess we get 2 beers from the top and head upstairs.
All right, so let me swip you over to the Trollskull Manor map so you can tell me which floor you end up having a conversation on. All right. Now, as I said before, like when there are these one-on-one questions, if there are, I don't want it to be too much of a dialogue. So if people who are listening, especially like in this situation, I'm just going to metagame this. You're going to get a mission. For those, if you have some questions, what I think, if you have a question that Clue could ask but hasn't, if you want to pipe up and ask Clue, you can then decide to ask that question or not, because sometimes you might be getting information but someone else might think, oh, well, what time of year does this one thing happen, and then the character is already gone and then it's hard to find out. So rather than retconning those kinds of things, just I thought it might be more engaging if everyone has a kind of opportunity via Clue. And then, as I said in the DM, if somebody if there's some secret stuff I have to explain to him that's faction related that other people who aren't faction shouldn't know, I'll just message you. So, yeah. So which? Oh, dang it! I switched your map, but I didn't switch mine. I'm still in the street view. There's too many parts. Too many moving parts. All right. Right. Yeah. So, wow. This is there's some space you got going on. Which level did you take her to?
Just the second level.
Oh, okay.
Just
All
like
right.
the first secluded room that we
Okay.
kind of have. So, Yagra, what do you need to talk to me about?
Well, you know I'm a Zent, yeah?
Yeah, well
Right.
aware.
Well, honestly, we've kind of had our eye on you for a bit. We always thought you were a talented lad. But well, we wanna bring you in. But before I bring you in, there's a bit of something I need to tell you about the Black Network, and that is, well, we're kind of a loose affiliation. I mean, you have to be invited to be a member, but once you're a member, you're kind of a bit of a free agent, unless you get sort of excommunicated. You get rejected, denied, repudiated from all of us. But and there's some good parts of that. I mean, there's less hierarchy, there's less faffing about. You know, you've got more opportunities. But on the other hand, you know, if you get joined by some dickheads, then you're kind of associated with dickheads. Well, my guy, the guy that recruited me. His name is Davil Starsong. He's a real stand-up guy. I mean, you know, he's a sellsword, and he's a mercenary, and he might dabble in a little bit of, you know, black market dealing and some smuggled goods, but we don't kill. We're not Xanathar, you know what I mean? Thing is that there's another gang also operating as Zents. It's been causing some friction. It's been causing some troubles. We don't affiliate with them. We actually want to get rid of them if we can. But just want to let you know, if you join us, if people try to give you grief about the Zents, you got to tell them that they can fuck right off. That's not to do with us. That's to do with the other group. You know, we do our jobs right. We're good for protection. We're good. You need some caravan protection. You need some sellswords. We're the people you need. You want to avoid a little bit of tax in Waterdeep. We're the people you need. But what we're not out there doing is trying to take over Xanathar's territory. What we're not doing is trying to start a blood war with the Xanathar Guild. So I wanted to, before I recruited you, because like I said, we've had our eye on you for a while. I felt like you needed to know that, so you knew, and you could say no if you didn't want to get involved in our problems. Because as soon as you join, our problems might become your problems, and I couldn't in good faith, because I know you, mate. We drink together, we scam drunk tourists out of their money. There's no way I could see you stabbed in the back or, you know, hurt because I didn't do my due diligence, letting you know that you've gonna have to keep your eye out for Xanathar even more now than before.
I mean, Chloe just kind of looks at her and puts his hand on her shoulder and just goes, "Your problems were always gonna be my problems."
She gets a big smile on her face. Wow, she's like a real softie inside. She's really tough on the outside, but right, she's just got a big smile. She's like, right, yeah, I knew that, mate. I knew that. You're the best. You're like family, and that's the other thing. Yeah, when you're part of, you're Zent now. We are family. We're gonna be family by blood. Because we're going to do a ceremony. Once we do, we got to get through this token job that needs done. Once you're done this, then you can meet Davil. He'll give you the formal entry, and we'll go from there. And I see great things for you. All right, so if my problems are your problems, here's my problem. Someone is killing elves and half-elves, the sailors down the dock ward. We've got 3 dead already, and each time they were decapitated by a blade. Each time it happened in the middle of the night. Now, we think the City Watch are looking the other way because they don't care too much about the Zents and the Xanathars killing each other off. I think they see it as we're making their job easier. But we want to look out for our own. We want to make sure that people aren't being murdered. So, yeah, if you could maybe... I mean, all we really know is somebody stalking the dock ward at night. They're going after elves and half-elves. And they're wielding a blade. Now, it might take you more than 1 or 2 nights. You might have to go for a week before you are in the right place at the right time. It's not like every night people are getting killed. It's sort of like happening sporadically. But if you could go and basically add extra eyes and ears, add some extra security, and if you can find the bastard of what done it, well, there might be some, and especially if you can save a life, or make sure you stop crime, there might be some coin in it as well as respect from Davil and from, well, you always have my respect, mate. You're like a brother to me.
Well, I've business there anyway, so would be wasting your keeping my eyes out there.
All right. Well, you can take whatever crew you want. I trust your judgment and who you hang out with. Last thing is, always looking for good people. Like I was looking for good people like you. You seem to have an interesting party. She sort of like doesn't, you've got the door shut, but she kind of like looks toward the staircase you guys, came from. Right? Yeah, if you think any of them might be Zent material, you come talk to me and we'll sort it out, yeah?
Definitely.
Right. Well, yeah, you got everything you need. You're smart, you're quick, you're good at your job. Go stop a killer.
Sure will. Come on, let's grab another drink before I send you home.
Oh, don't have to ask me twice. Hey, I know a bartender. I've got someone that owns a bar. Woo! That's the last Durnden's gonna see of me, Durnan. I can drink for free down me mates.
Don't think that's gonna hold up, yeah, guys. You'll drink a drug before I know it.
Yeah, so she claps you, again on the back, and you guys head downstairs.
Mara watches them fill up their pints, and she's already like calculating like how much booze they're drinking, and she just shakes her head. Like she knows where this is headed, and it's not good for them.
So, by the way, Clue, occasionally, you'll be standing, so you're sort of like sat at some of the more tattered bar stools. You kind of like, yeah, they're fine. They're not rat infested or anything. They're just a little bit worn, dingy. But sometimes you'll notice that as your beers are getting near the bottom, Leaf will already grab you some clean ones and start filling you up a glass. And then he'll slide it down the bar at you. Lift. I keep saying Leaf. It's Lift.
Looks like we've got...
It will be definitely awesome if we can have Liv as a full-time bartender.
And he makes another smiley face under the smiley face.
I love you too, buddy.
Okay. Anyone else want to do anything? I feel like Hibara, you've hardly spoken at all.
During that whole interim, what she was doing while they were having their private conversation, she's been up in the library, or the former library, grabbing all of the moldy books.
Oh, okay.
And she's been moving them out here onto this balcony into a pile, because that's what she's going to start planting with this fern she got.
Oh, nice. Is this going to be her bedroom?
Probably not.
Oh, she'll just leave it. She'll just have it there to be a garden.
She's just having a little garden on this balcony, starting a garden on this balcony right here.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds, that's brilliant. And I
Would
bet
be a
if you
nice view from the refurbished library.
Yep, and depending on what the soil quality is, maybe when they're doing some of the renovations or whatever, if they have to like dig things out, they could use some of the soil from that too. But yeah, excellent. Okay, so you've got Hibara's garden started on the second
Or they
floor.
find a dead body.
That might happen.
Maybe.
The only reason I say anything is because I'm talking from experience, like not genuine experience, but from pretty sketchy experience. We did some excavating of our yard, and we found a sock,
A sock?
like a sock. Like it wasn't one of my socks, and it wasn't one of my mother's socks, and it wasn't one of my sister's socks. It was a sock that somebody buried.
That's
I
weird.
mean,
Was anything in it?
No, but that doesn't necessarily preclude that there was something in it at one. There was not something in it at one point.
I mean, like just tends to be like a dog that just grabbed something somewhere and decided to bury it.
It was the sock was located underneath a deck, so like a dog could not have done that.
I mean, depends on when the deck was built.
There's a knock at the front door.
Thelva will go and answer it.
So, by the way, so you guys got there about 10-ish. You had a little look around. You met with Omen briefly. I guess I'm thinking it's like about 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Or no, about 3. Let's call it 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And at your door, there are 2 humans. They say, "Hi, I'm Roberta. This is Robert." And Omen told us that for the next couple days, we're here to help you guys out as your hirelings, as part of helping out with your business. And so, yeah, we only have about a half day today. You can give us some instructions, but we can come back tomorrow. We're working for you for the next 5 days. For the length that he gave you your contract. He's kind of giving you a sample of AC Inc. or the Solutions Guild, I should say. Oops.
Sorry.
Module reveal. They say, so he thought that the first thing you guys would need is some help making this place less dusty. And they start looking around. Like, he was probably right. I mean, no offense, but you got a bit of dust here.
Oh, yes. Come in. If you're here to dust, then you definitely got your work cut out for yourself. I am Thelva Mordegrain, also known as Thelva, Human Combat Mage. Over there with their guest is Clue, and Mara is over there, and there's Hibara coming down the stairs there. Come in, meet everyone.
Oh, hi, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Combat Mage. Do you want us to start on the ground floor or the first floor, or where would you like us to start?
I will personally start with the ground floor. Get some of this, the furniture that can be salvaged, get that moved out.
Alrighty-dighty. And they just like they go back outside, and they have like an entire sort of like cart, like of things, like it has different brooms and brushes. Like you can tell it's like an ice cream truck not ice cream truck, but you know, like when people would push like an ice cream freezer or refrigerator and sell ice creams out of them. You know, that kind of thing. You would use it like to clean a city street. You know, that kind of thing. And they pull it through the front doors, and they get out their stuff, and they go in the corner, and they start moving things around and talking to each other and planning. And as they're doing that, you can see one of the cloths just lift up and float over and start it starts cleaning the mirror behind the bar, but it leaves its smiley face and its words. So it cleans everything kind of like except around where it wrote. and then it starts wiping the bar down. Basically, Liff is so happy. He's also going to help them clean now that he understands that that's what they're here to do. He wants his bar looking good as well. But he didn't want to erase his communications with you because that's how he communicates.
Yeah, we probably want to think of something that's more effective than writing in dust.
Indeed.
Yeah, so they will work for like the 2 hours, and they go and they look at the other floors as well and get kind of an estimate of how much time. They advise you if you don't want. We understand you've got a kind of a professional who can come in, and maybe if you aren't going to take someone with you on the job, you could get someone who can do prestidigitation. They're looking around like there might be. You might want to get someone who can do a cantrip of prestidigitation all day long. I think that would make this work go a lot faster.
Mara looks at the bar and just like, even though she can't speak Elvish, she's just like, no, leaf. Dudes, do you know the magics to clean the place?
And you see a frowny face being drawn in the next to one of the smiley faces, but you can it's for you. Like, he doesn't know prestidigitation.
It's okay, dudes. We still love you.
And then they see the the frowny face being crossed out, and then underneath it was a smiley face being replaced.
Aww.
I'm not gonna make our ghosty friend mad. I love my ghosty friend.
We need to find that guy a chalkboard or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he talks through the mirror. It makes me happy.
I mean, yeah, but eventually the mirror is gonna run out of dust.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think in terms of I mean, there's this is what I've had prepared for this session.
All right.
You met the neighbors, you got a job offer, you also got a business offer, you got hired for one of the factions, and also it's just been one day. Like it's only been like a day since yesterday, so I can't like throw 15 offers at you, or you won't be able to do all the jobs. So, but they will be coming. So this was probably the most roleplay heavy session we will ever have. The other ones will always probably have at least the offer of a fight of coming up, or like the preparation or coming back out of it. So, at this point, what would be helpful for me is if you guys can be, a little more clear in what you want the bar to look like, and also maybe if people are what the living arrangements are going to be. So when you meet your and then deciding also on Jarvis. So we have the name. We know it's going to be what it sounds like. Mara's got her heart set on that. But once you have a sense of what this building is going to be like and who's going to stay in it, then I can help you guys craft a major duomo who can complement what you want, or maybe somebody who can play to your weaknesses with their strengths in some way. So if you decided you want a full-time cleric as your major duomo, so someone can always heal you or whatever else, like.
Ooh, I do like that idea.
Or if you wanted a bard, so anyone could play music or whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a conversation you guys want to start have now, or do more offline and come with answers next time. I mean, I think in terms of, it would be hard for people to sleep here tonight, but after the crew comes back tomorrow, if you had them focus on certain parts of the building, like the third floor living areas or whatever, people could move in by tomorrow night if you wanted to.
I mean, right now, Clue probably wants to go back to his own house in the dock ward, considering the that Jagger just gave him.
Okay.
Mara could probably sleep in this house and not care. She just wants to curl up
same
with
for
her book.
Hibara.
All right. Well,
Ibarra is definitely some worse places.
Yeah.
That's fine. They'll can retire back to their place.
wow.
And I think-
And that'll work out pretty well because there's 3 bedrooms listed on the map. One can be for Jarvis, and then Hibara and Mara can have the other 2.
Yeah. And it would probably be a good idea for people to stay in the house now that like the neighbors know that there are people that the house is going to be occupied.
Yep. You know,
So
yes, absolutely, because it would be otherwise. Yeah, you want people in the house. I was just thinking for Hibara, if you on the 2nd floor, that den area, you could turn that into a bedroom, and then you'd have
This
2
area?
balconies. Yeah, because there's a balcony on both sides, and all
I
of that
was-
turret was all glass.
Okay, so I saw that that the turret area was all glass, but I was thinking like renovation times,
Yeah.
sort of knock out this area right here, and just basically literally just turn this whole section into a greenhouse type deal.
Yeah, I think that, there might be a slight adjustment in the cost, but we can work that out.
Yeah.
And I've got jobs, the whole idea is to kind of also get jobs coming your way. Because the original game doesn't give you a way to make a lot of money right away. So I had to go, oh my God, they need to make a bunch of money. How am I going to do it? It's not in the module. I have to figure out a different plan. But yeah, if that's something you can talk with the guild masters and the carpenters about knocking that bit out and then doing what you want with this area. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And which floor are you going to live on, Mara?
Mara's gonna commandeer the library.
Oh, okay. Right, because you've got a private bath and a privy right there. Yeah, they could actually probably knock through those walls to give you doors, so you don't have to go around.
No, it will be totally fine.
Oh, okay.
Like Mara's just gonna as long as she has a pull-out couch, not even a pull-out couch, like a regular couch where she can just curl up and read.
Oh, okay. All right. By the way, if out in metagame, if you want to read up on Asmodeus,
I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I can also prepare things for you in the game for Mara to learn, but I picked him for a reason. Yeah, and the same with Tempest. There's a reason why I picked both of those people to come and visit you. And guess who's going to get a visit tonight as well? But I'll do that next time. But as a preview, you're going to have 1 good, 1 neutral, and 1 evil. And who you call on will maybe shape your future. So, yes. Anything else? Yeah, because I'll do that at the start of the next one.
All right.
Oh, the abacus thing.
Oh yes.
It's just. Is it just a hex per day, or does it do anything else?
Yes, I'm going to tell you, while you're using it, I can tell you the other property it does have. That the magic part of it was the thing that I thought would be a kind of an exciting thing for your character. But the abacus itself, let me just read out what it does. I have to find the right page. I'm much better at getting to the Dragon Heist information right away, but the other book I'm still learning a little bit. Oh, damn you. Nope, sorry, hold on. I'll have to look in the front. Oh, yeah, okay. Hold on. Sorry about this.
That's okay.
The occultant. They have specialized roles, and they each have their own names. So, all right. Oh, yes, the occultant. Yes, your occultant. So you're basically taking on a company role, which I'll just say in a metagame way, you actually get some extra proficiencies on top. If you take up a role within the company in order to do something like keep track of the maps or keep track of the documents, you get extra proficiencies that might help you in the game as well. And I'm gonna give it to you at rank 1, which is what you guys would start out with. And so the occultant abacus not only tracks all of the kills you do for the franchise, or for the
Okay.
Solutions Guild, so that they know how you performed. But it also helps you determine the impact of those that you kill on your company's fate. So, for a period of 1 minute, you can study a creature killed by someone in your party within the last 24 hours. And then you can grant the person who slew that creature a d10. I can write this down for you afterwards so you don't have
To
to
add to a
remember it.
roll?
Yep, and then once within the next hour, that character can add a d10 to an attack roll, ability roll, or a saving throw.
So study someone that one of us killed,
Yep,
and then whoever killed that person gets a D10 for later.
yep.
All right.
You can use it, let's see, once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you do a long rest.
Okay.
So, yeah. Also, there's some ideas that the abacus might be act a little wonky around Thelvar, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can basically screw up somebody's day royally with the bead, and you can also be a buffer, or for yeah, that's what I'm working. Like you get buff, right? When you get big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buff somebody. And of course, if it's you can also buff yourself. I don't see any reason why, if you're the person who did the kill, that you couldn't benefit from it yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that in the rules, but it also doesn't say you can't.
And
So-
that D10, is there a time limit on the D10?
It says
Or does
1 hour, but I'm counting that as
Okay.
1 hour in the game, not 1
Yeah.
hour in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give you guys a little summary as well. I'll type up everything. Well, actually, in all honesty, if you, I didn't want to railroad you on this, but it just made so much sense to kind of go in this direction, because this module gives me so much more flexibility to do kind of fun things. If Dragon Heist was offering you guys a business anyway, rather than just doing what the DM manual has. But I'll go ahead and get this module, and that way you'll have access to the information here in D20, not just like written by hand. So I'll be doing that for next
That
week.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Woohoo.
really like how Dragon Heist works a lot. The maps aren't brilliant, but for all of the tokens and all of the other stuff I get as a DM, it's so freaking awesome. So it's a Kristi gift, really. I mean, I know you guys are playing, but it's for me. I guess we've kind of moved out of the game itself, but other than we've got now, Mara's going to convert the library study into a library study place to sleep. And Hibara is going to convert the den into basically like a greenhouse to rival the person across the roads.
Yeah, kind of.
Have a little like greenhouse war, which in a friendly way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys have a job for next week. You've got some decisions to make on your business and your major Duomo. I always say Duomo, but it's Domo. It's no U in it. It's an OMO. And yeah, you have your deeds signed and everything else. So that, unless anybody else has anything else, any more.
Can't think of anything.
All right. Well, then I think we'll bring this session to an end. We can always hang out afterwards and just chill. But in terms of the YouTube stuff, that's going to be it. So yes, congratulations on your new business, everybody. And let's next week get back to killing.
Yay, Kelly.
Yay.
All right. Well, then, until next time, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from the party. Say goodbye, party.
Bye,
Bye,
party.
party.
Hey.